Om Shanti.
Namaskar, Swagatam. I would like to request all the audience to keep their mics mute, please. Welcome to AYUSH SAMRIDDHI's 532nd journey, the journey of brainstorming, journey of knowledge sharing, and inspiring module for this examination. Thank you very much for your mentorship, cooperation, involvement, contribution as guide, as speaker, and knowledge sharing. Thank you very much. Today we have very eminent speakers, Dr. Amit Agrawal ji, Dr. Naveen Kumar Garg ji, Pankaj Kumar ji, on an unique subject, IPR, the relevance for AYUSH. IPR is everybody's desire. If a doctor treats thousands of patients with some innovative concept, medicine or equipment, he desires to have the patent for that. If any company do the same, the desire of the company is also same. To understand the unique subject, we have invited expert of the line. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us within a shortened notice. Thank you. Without wasting much time, I would like to request Professor BP Sharma ji, Vishnu Prasad Sharma ji, member NCISM, President Vishwa Ayurved Parishad, Assam, and former principal, Government Ayurvedic College, Guwahati. Welcome, sir. Welcome for your initial blessings.
Namaskar. Good evening to everybody. Respected, distinguished guests, eminent speaker, ladies and gentlemen. I, Professor Dr. Vishnu Prasad Sharma, welcome all of you to this evening webinar on IPR relevance for AYUSH. Most important subject today we have. In this webinar, we have eminent speaker. I want to welcome Dr. Amit Agrawal, Director, Natural Remedies Private Limited, CEO, Herb Artisan Private Limited, Bengaluru. Welcome you, sir. Next, I want to welcome Dr. Pankaj Kumar, AICTE IPR Ambassador, Professor, National Law University and Judicial Academy, Guwahati. I welcome you, sir. Next, I want to welcome Dr. Naveen Kumar Garg, Technical Head and IRES or AYUSH Mark Scheme, IR Class System and Solution Private Limited from Mumbai. I welcome all the eminent speakers to this evening webinar on IPR relevance for AYUSH. I welcome once again all the eminent speakers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, to this evening webinar. Thank you. Namaskar. Over to Pavanji.
Thank you very much, sir. I welcome all audience experts in the audience. Welcome Dr. Harish Verma ji, President, Canadian College of Ayurveda, Canada. Welcome Harish ji, welcome. So now I would like to request Dr. Agnihotri sir for his initial blessing.
Namaskar. Thank you, Professor Pawan Sharma ji. We welcome all the distinguished guest speakers of today's webinar, and also our big guys and big dignitaries who have joined our floor of today's webinar. Well, a very unique subject, a subject of everybody's interest. But when we see the deepness of this subject or the depth of this subject itself, we ourselves being Sanatani, thinking that our association is a very deep and from the deepest roots like Satyug, Tirtha, Dwapar and all that. We had been having great mentors, having outstanding knowledge, qualification, ability and teachings. They taught, or they, by out of their spiritual knowledge, treated the disharmony in the society. Our Vasishtha Muniji, Vishwamitra, they were all so clever, older. They made persons like Rama and all the Kshatriya of that bunch with an outstanding distinguished qualification. Claim is different. Vasishtha and Vishwamitra, they had been having their great immunities. But here in Kali Yuga, the things are different. In the upper, Dronacharya was there, Kripacharya was there. So many learned saints and mentors were there. They made persons who wrote the history, who made the history. Here is a small Kali Yuga, and we are quarreling for our intelligence, our all the physicians, surgeons, and those who are the Piyush Pani. They do a lot. Our manufacturers prepare a lot of good things. They effect and they give the benefit to the mankind, suffering mankind. But still, the point of patent is very important, because that makes a person capable and makes himself owner of that effect. The things, these three things are only valuable. The one is the concept, the other one is the process, and the third one is the product. All these things are to be reserved for every individual whosoever is having this knowledge. Though we had been having a great scientist in our country, in the world, in this Kali Yuga, like Newton, Einstein, Marconi, Faraday, they were there, and they have got their different field, and they have got a wonderful, outstanding personality, knowledge, and output. But here in this Kali Yuga, in the current era, say 21st century, things are different, especially pertain to the medical fraternity. So now today we are going to listen a lot from our distinguished speakers, that how they manage today's situation with the reference that this IPR, with a special reference to the AYUSH relevancy, how it could be established in the current scenario. So thank you so much. And we do hope that we are going to listen a great knowledge from these our distinguished speakers. Thank you so much. Thank you. Over to Pawan Sharma ji.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Just a breaking news. At 7:57, earthquake is felt in Delhi NCR. So be safe. Whoever is in Delhi, please be safe. At 7:57, earthquake is felt, observed in 5.8.
Is there any mark how much? What is the Richter scale point?
5.8.
5.8.
Yes.
It is a short of Richter.
Yes, please be safe. Please take care. We hope for everybody's well condition. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Because it was there in 2 days before in Pithoragarh. So the epicenter might be very important. It may be nearby NCR. I think maybe in Pakistan, maybe in the nearby country. Epicenter is very important for this.
Right, sir.
Thank you.
So now I would like to request Dr. Amit Agrawal ji, Director, Natural Remedy, to have his expertise, blessings, and inspiration on IPR, the relevance for AYUSH. Welcome, sir.
सर अपना चेहरा थोड़ा लाइट की तरफ घुमा लीजिए, ये लाइट अपनी तरफ कर लीजिए.
Limited light है सर कमरे में. I hope you can see it.
Back side.
Yes, clearly visible, sir. Clearly.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So thank you first of all to the organizers and all the participants of the webinar. I would like to say that I am not really an expert on patent, but I have had some experience of applying for patent, and several of the patents were granted also. So I will just briefly mention some points from my experience, which I think may be relevant for the audience. And that is, first thing is that most of my patents initially were on polyherbal formulations, and the nature of the patent was a process patent. because at that time also the patent office and the patent lawyers or patent consultants that we were interacting with, they advised us that unless A plus B gives a C, a completely new product, you can only get a process patent. And by design, by the very nature of process patent, it has a relatively less protection compared to a product patent. So in the herbal field, in the AYUSH sector, when we are talking about different herbs, our hope is generally centered around finding synergy. If we can find a mixture where 2 plus 2 is greater than 4, then and it can be proved, then and only then there is a, should I say, charm of applying for patent. Otherwise, patent by itself is a expensive exercise, particularly if one is trying to go for patents outside the country. So I've had experience of PCT applications under which through a single window, we can apply for patents in multiple countries. That is more expensive than compared to patent cost within the country. And what I must say is, initially, I'm talking 20 years back, when I applied some of the initial patents, the regulations were very different compared to the regulations today. And I must say that in current scenario, getting a patent has become very, very difficult. I do not know how many people are aware of the amendments that have occurred in the Patent Act, but there is a document, perhaps some of you can find it on the net. It is guidelines for processing of patent applications relating to traditional knowledge and biological material. So in Ayurveda, we are obviously talking about medicinal plants and biological material. And always with every medicinal plant, there is some or the other traditional knowledge that is associated. What I would like to mention is, since the time this guideline has come, this is a guideline which is issued by the Office of Controller General of Patents. It is perhaps available on the net. And as per this guideline, the patent examiners of all the patent offices in the country are required to evaluate our applications as per this guideline. In this guideline, there are 6 different guiding principles, which were actually all the ways by which we were getting patents in the past. And as per this 6 guiding principles, it has become now, almost next to impossible, if I may use the word, finding novelty and going beyond these guiding principles and securing patent. It has been my experience through PCT application on a particular patent on Brahmi. Many of you know Nir Brahmi or Bacopa maneri. Our patent was on a product where we had made a very specialized extract of Bacopa or Brahmi. And we believed that this kind of extract did not exist hitherto in the market, and that is why we had applied for patent. One particular aspect, before I get into the detail of the Brahmi patent, is the overall, should I say, mindset or beliefs that prevail regarding patent in the AYUSH sector. I have had friends and colleagues who are of the opinion that patent is a social evil, that it should not be existing actually in a pious science like Ayurveda. While I may agree at one level, but at another level, I tend to disagree with that thinking. I find we have beautiful preparations, like I take an example of Triphala. I find that there are very few clinical trials, particularly RCT type, which is randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled trials, published in international journals, for the simple reason that there is no owner of a formulation like a Triphala or a Dashmula, Arishtha. These are classical preparations, and they don't belong to any one particular individual. Because of the fact that no single person can own such a formulation, we find that companies don't come forward to invest in research on such preparations because there is no clear path of a return of investment. Any typical clinical study these days, easily costs 60, 70 lakhs of rupees. And no company is willing to spend that kind of money unless there is a visibility of how that money is going to come back to the company. It is for that reason you find that there is very little research and very little IPR activity happening on the classical preparations. Now, coming to the individual products, and this is like a cycle. Because there is no clear path of ROI, people don't do research, and the traditional system, which could have grown significantly, has perhaps not seen its full might because of the lack of that validation or its acceptance in the Western countries. And there are several, issues associated which are of policy nature. I will go back to my example of Brahmi patent. So I had applied under PCT. I obviously wanted to cover United States because that is one major buyer of botanical extracts. So this was a patent on the extract of Brahmi. And my patent was granted by USPTO. And under the same PCT route, I had applied in Australia because I was selling a significant amount of Brahmi extract in Australia as well. So the Australian Patent Office also granted the patent. But before that, what had happened is all of you are perhaps aware of the CSIR body called TKDL, Traditional Knowledge Digital Library, the custodian of documenting the traditional knowledge and making the traditional knowledge available to the patent offices globally. So TKDL had also had a look at my patent and given a patent advisory, that this patent should not be granted. And because TKDL said, though it is granted in US, it is granted in Australia, but it is not granted in India. When I got to know about that, I went to, this is many years ago, I went to Mumbai to the office of the Controller General of Patents, requesting that can there be a re-evaluation as to why the patent has not been granted, because the same patent was granted in other countries, and if other countries can see sufficient novelty in my application, why is it that the Indian Patent Office does not see the novelty? I was advised that if we receive a written recommendation from a body like TKDL, we will not evaluate the application any further. We will just put it in abeyance. But I pointed out to the Controller General that, sir, that TKDL is not aware of the patent law. They do not evaluate the merit of the patent. They only look for whether anything similar, even remotely similar data exists in the traditional knowledge. And if it does, the result would be that advisory will go that don't grant the patent. So a Brahmi type of preparation, the fact that it is useful for learning and memory is well known in Ayurveda. Nobody can patent that aspect. And that is not what I had claimed. I had claimed a unique preparation of Brahmi, which is specific to the process that I had adopted with a particular chemical composition. And I had studied the mechanism of action. I had studied different aspects, including multiple clinical studies and safety studies. So much so that that particular product was approved as a phytomedicine in Brazil. And it is still the same status. It is being marketed by a multinational company to elderly for improving cognitive function as a phytomedicine. So to protect all that investment in clinical studies and safety studies, and so much of over 15 years of research was done on Brahmi by my company. and thus the obvious desire to protect it with some form of intellectual property. So apart from trademark, the patent was applied. So I was quite, should I say, demotivated to hear that my own country and our own patent system is coming in the way of innovation just because the botanical has a history of use, just because the botanical has a associated traditional knowledge. And I explained to the director at that time, I don't need to name anybody, that is not the purpose of this webinar. His purpose is to just draw learnings from it and chalk out a way forward. The director of TKDL at that time understood and acknowledged that, yes, we have not evaluated your patent on its merit as per Patent Act or something. We have just remotely seen from a distance, like a helicopter view of things, from a bird's eye view, as they say, whether anything similar exists in TKDL. And based on that, we have issued the advisory. By the way, a similar advisory was issued by TKDL even to Australian Patent Office, but Australian Patent Office chose to award the patent to me in spite of the TKDL advisory, because they found that what is written in the traditional knowledge and what my claims are, there is no overlap, or there is no effort to commercialize any traditional knowledge which is in public domain. So my claims were quite distinct and quite separate from the traditional knowledge. To sort of cut a long story short, finally, this is currently the situation that I continue to enjoy patent protection outside of India, but in India, I do not have a patent protection for that extract. So at some level, I have tried to raise this as a concern. It's a matter of policy. Government of India has to decide whether it wants to encourage patents, or whether the thinking will be that, I mean, no doubt that Ayurveda is a gift from God. Lord Dhanvantari sort of made it available to one and all, but to think that patent is a social evil and it should not be permitted, it should be discouraged. If that is going to be the mindset in the minds of policymakers and people at the helm of affairs, then it is unfortunate, and many companies like mine would shy away from investing in a next major botanical, to try and acquire a patent and generate high quality science to support and to take it to international market and make it a big product. So these, in fact, there is a publication in the Journal of Ayurveda and Integrative Medicine by Professor Bhushan Patwardhan on these specific guidelines. And some of us, like I have discussed this matter with Dr. Katiyar, Dr. D.V. Narayana, and many other stalwarts in the field. And many people agree that though the intent of the guideline was pretty good, but the way it's been written and the way the guiding principles have been laid down, it is becoming counterproductive. It is coming in our own way of doing research in the country. The second deterrent being the Biological Diversity Act, where the Act prevents applying for any IPR even outside India, and a agreement on access and benefit sharing needs to be done with NBA, the National Biodiversity Authority, before the sealing of the patent. So I have already done that. I mean, the issue was sharing benefits is not really the constraint, but it was, any such activity which comes in the way of research is likely to be counterproductive in the long run. So this, in summary, has been my experience. I have applied, or in some cases, I have foregone the patent. I have abandoned my patent because of the associated complications, and the ABS fee was unaffordable, or the market from that patented product was not sizable enough to continue investing in the maintenance of the patent. And though I still have about 5 or 6 patents which are live, Some of them have completed their 20 years of life, and a few others I had to abandon. So this, in summary, has been my experience. If there are any questions from the audience, I will attempt to answer.
Excellent, excellent, sir. You have shared your experience in very excellent, inspiring. It is motivation for others that everyone can desire and everybody should proceed scientifically to get the IPR, no doubt. Investment is there, patience is required, and time frame is too long. It is, message is clear. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Agnihotri, sir, your comments.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Amit Agrawal ji. You very deeply narrated whole of the history and your struggle, how you got success there outside country in Australia and also in UK, along with the your Brazil approach. What should I say? I think it is when it comes in reference to our country, naturally two things are coming in my mind. The one is that either we are working a lot in India, so we might be having small similarities and which are constraining us to provide the sanction the patent, or else they might not want to see our persons at top. It's there. It's a very clear phenomenon. It can be understood by the only the status of TKDL, which just I think have his history way back 2005 or so. One of my student of PG from Russia, from our School College, Atul, he was doing all this, and we were there in Pragati Maidan way back in 2005 or 6. Then that process was going on. So out of the knowledge available in TKDL, if a person or if a scientist is working apart from that and having a outright good say inferences and output, it can be given the appreciation with the view that it will go along with throughout the world. And now this is the high time for Ayurveda that everybody is seeing towards Ayurveda. So your contribution is great. Every person, I just talked about the Vasishtha ji and Vishwamit ji, they never applied for patent because they were taken as granted as apta. They were apta. उनकी प्रोडक्ट का कोई अंत ही नहीं था. आज कलयुग आ गया है, and how this technology will disturb us, our scientists, our great intelligent scientists. So your contribution is always be appreciated. Government sector might be having some shortcomings. Thank you so much, Professor Dr. Amit Agrawal.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Means he has indicated and inspired me to conduct researches in Bhopal with different coordination of different departments. DST, DVT, various departments are available here. So now I would like to welcome Dr. Pankaj Kumar ji. He is great leader in IPR, I can say, from National Law University, Guwahati. Welcome, welcome, Dr. Pankaj Kumar ji, DPIIT IPR Chair Professor in National Law University and Judicial Academy. This is really unknown to us. Yesterday only, I came to know that IPR has developed in such a condition. Great. Welcome, Dr. Pankaj Kumar. Welcome.
Dr. Pawan ji, and thank you for the opportunity here. I think most of the participants are doctors and working in the field of Ayurveda, and I'm very grateful for getting the insights from Pawan ji, and I noted just some of the perceptions of him, and generally people have such type of perceptions, and sometimes we say myths, like most of times we say this is a social evil. Many times some people say patent kills patient. So actually these are debatable issues. We have to have some patience to understand such things. Again, PCT system, as per some people, this is too expensive for the ordinary person. PCT provide an international platform and a person interested may file an international application, there is no any international patent. There is no any global patent or world patent. There is only international application. So this is a facility only by which a person may enter into multiple countries. And therefore, it is very cost effective. Otherwise, if any person enter in multiple countries to file a patent, it's too expensive because every time he have to pay government fee in each country. So PCT is not an expensive way. And again, patenting is a very easy or tough. Earlier, it is a very tough. Nowadays, it is relatively easier. Earlier, you may have experienced that some of applicants get grant even after 10 years. You know, patent is given for 20 years and already 10 years have been passed. And after 10 years, if someone got granted, then they have only 10 years to commercialize it. And there is no any guarantee after 10 years, there is still a market for such patented invention. So there may not be any use of such patented invention after 10 years. Again, if a patent is granted in any of the country, so the applicant may argue in other countries that already such patent is granted in so and so country. So this country also gives the grants. No, it's not happen because patent is territorial in nature, and as per the country requirement, the country policy, the patent office examine the application. Although the output of other countries influence the decision of local patent office. And again, patent is counterproductive in R&D. So again, this is debatable. So I think you may have better understanding after some of my presentation slides. So this is one of the guidelines for processing of patent applications. So it indicates some of the principles and further they explain it by some illustration. This is a really wonderful document. I think anyone, you can access it online free of cost, and we must study such documents. So whether Ayurveda related invention should be patented or not. Without having much clarity, we can't jump whether Ayurveda related inventions should be patented or not. I think after passing some of the slides, we may be in better position to judge it. And what is patent? So far we have discussed so much in patents, inventions. What is patent? So patent is a legal rights. It is a exclusive rights granted by government in every country, so that the applicant may exclude any person in the country where he got the patent. Without his prior permission, no one can commercialize such patented invention. And for such consent, patentee may commercialize by means of licensing, assignment, etc., so that they get royalties, and so that they can get motivation to reinvest such funds to do further research and development, to come out with new inventions. And what is inventions? So invention is the subject matter for patent. What is invention? Invention may be a product, may be a process, may be a technology. So in the context of Ayurveda, most of the things are based on traditional knowledge. And traditional knowledge, as name indicates, knowledge which are traditional in nature. So these are the information which are oral and rural in nature, generated within communities. Systematic documentation generally absent, because most of the time such information passed generation to generation, and they are mostly location and culture specific, and difficult to be registered under patent per se, as being considered part of public domain. And there is a huge biopiracy. So there are so many bioresources, and different forms of such resources are used, and see there are different applications. So there are ample examples regarding such resources, knowledge, and their applications. So these are some of the focus area relates to the presentation, like it includes IPR, TKDL, opposition of patent, commercialization of patent, access and benefit sharing. So in India, there are different types of IPR. Other than patent, trademark, copyright, plant breeders' right, industrial design, geographical indication, trade secrets. बोलते ना ठंडा बोले तो कोका कोला, वैसे ही IPR बोले तो पेटेंट. तो पेटेंट की पोजीशन बहुत ही डोमिनेंट है अदर IPR के कंपैरिजन में. So there are some criteria. If your invention fulfill all such criteria, then only your invention may be considered patentable. So appropriation of bioresources and associated traditional knowledge, specifically by patenting, was observed. So there are so many applications in this field which applied for patent. Difficult to be registered under patent because there is a very difficult to pass such criteria of patentability. And there are cases of wrongly granted patent. Still, there are many patents you may find in this field which are granted. And these are called wrong patent, wrongly granted patent. Again, their experience of unethical business because there is hardly any prior informed consent from the stakeholder, the indigenous society, maintaining such a traditional knowledge, Ayurveda since years, and there is hardly any access and benefit sharing. So trend of patenting in the present subject seems very disturbing. Regulation of patenting of such resources is needed urgently. Such patent application and grant of patent are highlighted by media. Most of the time we learn from the news, media. So what are such criteria based on any invention may get grant of patent? So first, involve an inventive step capable of industrial application, which should involve technical advance as compared to the existing knowledge or having economic significance or both. Be not obvious to a person skilled in the art. Novelty, inventiveness, and utility. These are three criteria. नया होना चाहिए, invention, inventive, or useful. So an invention which in effect traditional knowledge or duplication of known properties of traditionally known components have been made non-patentable as per the patent laws. Again, as per the patent laws, mere discovery of a new form of known substance which doesn't result in the enhancement of the known efficacy of that substance or the mere discovery of any new property or new use for a known substance or the mere use of a known process, machine or apparatus, unless such known process results in a new product or at least one new reactant. So any ready-made formula of traditional Indian Ayurvedic system of medicine cannot be patented. तो फोकस है नोवेल्टी होनी चाहिए, ऐसा नहीं कि ऑलरेडी कहीं वो अवेलेबल हो, प्रायर आर्ट का पार्ट हो, पब्लिक डोमेन में हो, प्लस ऑब्वियस नहीं होना चाहिए, इट शुड बी नॉन ऑब्वियस. So these are the criteria: novelty, inventiveness, utility, and there is a disclosure based mode so that a person interested can come with same invention with the information available by patent publication. पेटेंट में नया तो होना चाहिए फाइल करने की डेट पर. Once you file the application, government publish it twice. First, pre-grant publication and second, post-grant publication, so that all public may aware about such patent. And after expiry of patent, any person may use such information without any permission. So monopoly जो है, exclusive जो फीचर है पेटेंट का, वो केवल पेटेंट के टर्म्स तक है जो 20 ईयर है, सब्जेक्ट टू रिन्यूअल एवरी ईयर. सो देयर आर सम ग्राउंड्स आल्सो टू अपोज द पेटेंट both level, pre-grant and post-grant. Again, see, there are some plants, indigenous use, and there are some patent application where they are used for such uses, like for diabetes or skin care or hair care. Similar uses are already mentioned in our prior art, in our traditional knowledge, and these are some of the examples. See, there are other examples. Amla, Kali Mirch, Chandrabhaga, Kala Jeera, Majista, Imli, Ashwagandha. So all these are well known in Indian culture. Harar, Arjuna, Bahira. So see some of the news. India files a Spanish company patent bid for vitiligo cure. Here, the use of melon, watermelon, for vitiligo cure is mentioned in our traditional knowledge. So there is no any novelty of such usage, and that's why India's opposition to such patent application helps for such patent rejection. Again, see the lotus, camel, पढ़ाया होते होते बचा कमर. सो भारत में 5वीं सदी से दिल के आयुर्वेदिक उपचार में इस्तेमाल होती थी कमल से बनी दवाइयां. Many times people are not aware, and so some of the person interested for such patent applied for patent based on such invention based on such bioresources like lotus. So if there is any record available with patent office, then only they can reject the application, otherwise they can accept. But before accepting, they publish the application so that any person interested can oppose. So many times some people, not many times, very few times, some person interested oppose such a published application. Many times like CSIR oppose such patent applications and successfully revoke the applications. See another example, ginger, useful to burn fat. So see the commercial aspects of the property of such ginger. There is huge market. Brahmi Ashwagandha पर भी कब्जे की थी तैयारी. So India files China biopiracy bill, Pudina, Kamal, Kala Mega for bird flu. India wins patent war on hair loss formula. That formula includes turmeric, pine bark, green tea composition. So many international companies like Pangea Laboratories, etc., applied for patent invention based on such bioresources and traditional knowledge. So CSIR devised one database, TKDL, Traditional Knowledge Digital Library, so that they can establish the evidence that all such informations are not novel. These are already exist in our public domain, and so there is no any novelty. So first criteria of patentability cannot be fulfilled, and based on such arguments, many of such applications got revoked. So under examination report, see some of the objections under section, various sections under the Patent Act 1970. Under section 10.4.2d, the source and geographical origin of the biomaterial used to prepare the invention are not indicated in the specification. A specification is the document where you need to disclose your invention. So which are required to be disclosed as per section. So we need to disclose the source and geographical origin of such biomaterials and traditional knowledge. Again, inventiveness. Application doesn't constitute an invention under section 21J of the Patent Act. The claim of the instant application lack inventive step or non-obviousness in view of the cited prior document. So examination reports suggest some of the citations where same or similar kind of invention is exist. So applicant need to differentiate his or her invention with the cited invention or cited document. So we need to prove technical advancement. Otherwise, the invention seems to be obvious, and obvious things attracts the objections of non-inventiveness. So in order to prove inventiveness, we need to prove either the technical advancement or cost-effective. So other objections claims define new form of known substance. So new form of known substance is not considered a new invention, because otherwise there is a evergreening. People may make a new form just before the expiry of 20 years of the earlier patent. So they are evergreening. So ये 20 साल का जो समय दिया गया है, in order to get compensation, जो उसने invest किया, efforts किया, उसके बदले में 20 साल तक वो monopoly कर सके. After expiry of such monopoly term, people can devise a new form of the same thing. So again, they can claim for 20 years. So this is not allowed. Again, other objections like claim are no clear, synergistic and comparative data of this claimed composition. You know, 2 + 2 4, everyone knows. So this is too obvious. So in order to make inventive, we need to prove that our formulation, our invention is synergistic. So this is not only 2 + 2. By mixing such ingredients, the property having the synergistic effect, and we need to give some supporting data to establish what we are claiming the synergistic effect. So we need to update some data with the specification. Next objection may be claim related to a process, medicinal, surgical, curative, prophylactic, diagnostic, therapeutic, or other treatment, or treatment to human being or animal to render them free of disease or to increase their economic value or that of their products. These are excluded as per section 3I of the Patent Act. Such type of claims are not allowed in public interest. Again, invention which is the outcome of traditional knowledge or in aggregation or duplication of known properties of traditionally known component. These are also not allowed. See, a skilled person having prior knowledge of traditional medicine, use of part a specific plant may always be motivated to make a combination which will be useful for of various diseases at the same time. Such a combination, in order to achieve inventiveness, must be showing enhanced efficacy or synergistic result. Unless you show some enhanced efficacy or synergistic effect, such inventions called obvious and lacking the criteria of patentability. So a specification which doesn't contain any such enhanced efficacy or synergistic effect be considered failed to disclose anything beyond the traditional knowledge. We need to establish invention beyond the traditional knowledge. Again, one of the illustration, see, the use of combination of ingredients which are traditionally known as immunopotentiator as a dietary supplement composition which enhance the vitality and immunity level of a person consuming the said composition is a mere aggregation or duplication of known properties. See, mere aggregation or duplication of known properties, not considered. So these are territorial in nature. Country wise होता है patent. जिस country में आप apply करोगे patent आपको वही मिलेगा. So there is no any international patent or global patent or world patent. Invention based on traditional knowledge are internationally tried for patent. Some of such application wrongly granted. So कई एक बार जो wrongly grant होता है उसका main reason होता है information available नहीं होती patent office के पास कि whether such invention is already in public domain or available in any of the country around the world. So in view of inadequate resources, they may accept the application, but before the accepting, they have to publish so that if any person having such knowledge, they can oppose. It's another thing that there is hardly any person who are interested to oppose such applications. So the criteria of novelty is not restricted nationally, but it's global. So many times it is observed that information in public domain in one country may not be available in another country, either due to language barrier or any other reason. So on few instances, it was observed that information in public domain in a country may not be available in other country either due to lack of codification or translation or awareness, and so such application may be considered novel wrongly. So that doesn't mean these are novel, because already information is available in any of the part of the world. So National Patent Office worldwide examine the patent application with their limited database, and due to inadequate codification, sometimes old inventions wrongly understood new. So media highlighted some of the such wrongly granted patent, and sometimes some of the person interested oppose either at pre-grant or post-grant. such wrongly granted patent. So such oppositions are very expensive and need time and efforts. So one of the examples in Basmati rice case, APIDA spent about 7 crore rupees towards legal fee only to get revoked mere few claim. तो बासमती राइस पर रिवोक भी नहीं करा पाए, कुछ क्लेम थे, उस क्लेम में से कुछ क्लेम को हटाने के लिए उन्होंने 7 crore रुपीज स्पेंड करना पड़ा. So some countries initiated framing database of the indigenous traditional knowledge to make it accessible to patent office so that the patentability criteria. So CSIR ने सोचा कि इतना पैसा अगर खर्च करना ही है तो क्यों नहीं एक डेटाबेस बना लें परमानेंट, क्या every time rather than gathering evidence to prove this is not new, why not get the benefit of such a database to prove that this is already documented here in India, and based on such database, see, there are thousands of applications we successfully revoked worldwide, and India is the first country which have developed such a long-awaited database, TKDL, Traditional Knowledge Digital Library, which got recognition worldwide and have been recognized by WIPO, World Intellectual Property Organization. This is one of the organizations under United Nations, and we file international application under this platform also, WIPO, PCT application, Patent Cooperation Treaty under WIPO. So in India, such applications are opposed by entities like government organizations and including CSIR, ICR, ICMR, APIDA, etc., and NGO like Navdhanya. So many times such wrong patents successfully revoked or the applications cancelled by the concerned patent office worldwide. So this is the Traditional Knowledge Digital Library. There is a portal. A person interested can access such a database. So this is not a free database. This is a paid database. And see the impact of such a database. See the year-wise, there are some news, and using the neem tree, melon extract, ashwagandha, multiple admixture, pudina, kalmega, etc. There are some traditional uses which are known. I think most of you people are aware about such usage of such plant, and these are some of the patent applicants worldwide, and these are some patent applications in US, European countries, etc. So there's US Patent Office, European Patent Office, and Indian opposer are TKDL, one of the CSIR unit, and Green Party, another. So most of the status of such applications are either revoked, withdrawn, and see some other. In case of bhang, aloe vera, ginger, kutki, cow milk, jamun, long, patti, chandan. See the traditional uses. You all aware about such traditional usage of such plants, and see the status based on such TKDL. The status is either withdrawn, terminated before grant, withdrawn, revoked. Again, there are so many examples you see based on TKDL. Once the person interested oppose such application, the status is either rejected, withdrawn. So this is a software basically, and this convert different languages in different languages as per the different countries' requirement, and further it use different terminology, like in Sanskrit to English, and in general words to scientific words like turmeric to curcuma, longa, neem to ajadi, rasta, indica, basmati rice to odia, sativa, etc. It includes search interface also, which provide full text search and retrieval of traditional knowledge information based on IPC. There is international patent classification, and based on such classification, we can get the exact requirement based on such keywords. So search feature includes single or multiple word search, Boolean expression search, field search, phrase search, etc. So there is some skills to use such prior art search. Searches are also available on IPC and TKRC codes. So some of the examples we already see: turmeric, neem, haldi, basmati. There are so many cases. So first example of successfully challenging a patent based on traditional knowledge is turmeric, and CSIR successfully revoked this patent. Not only turmeric but neem, basmati, etc. also. So USPTO, US Patent Trademark Office, revoked the patent, stating that the claims made in the patent were obvious and anticipated. Earlier they granted due to lack of adequate information with them. But after the position, they admitted that, yes, these are obvious and anticipated, and agreeing that the use of turmeric was an old art of healing form. Perceiving need of digitalization of traditional knowledge of India to protect it from patent biopiracy, especially in the field of medicine, and it consequently lead initiative called the Traditional Knowledge Digital Library. So again, see, these are some of the patent applications. Earlier, the application number format is so first digits indicates the serial number, and DL represents Delhi, MUM for Mumbai, KOL for Calcutta, NP for national phase application, and last 4 digit is the year of filing. And see some of the bioresources and the utility of such bioresources. There are so many examples. You all are experienced person knowing the utility of various bioresources, and see there are so many patent applications claiming such a utility of such bioresources. So if we talk about outcome of traditional knowledge digital library, see in year 2016 to 2020, there are 230 applications revoked in European Patent Office, US, and India, Canada, IP Australia. So it prevents the grant of patent to invention which are either traditional knowledge or based on the same. So there are a lot to say on traditional knowledge. So this is quite obvious that we can recommend this as a source of prior art, and realizing importance of this, WIPO suggests member countries, other countries internationally to adopt model of Indian TKDL as their national model for protection of their concerned national traditional knowledge. So support at international forum is required at priority to get country-wise such database and to include as PCT minimum documentation, so that once the such a database comes under PCT minimum documentation, any country before granting the patent must search such PCT minimum documentation, so that no any patent granted based on any traditional knowledge which is mentions or codified in some sort of database in any of the member countries, which is considered under PCT minimum documentation. So awareness program are required for adequate awareness on this subject. So there are a lot of things to discuss. So some of the granted patents, see, nowadays there are some patents in India, you see, which is relatively easier to get. I don't know why the policy reason to make so easy. These are some of the patent number. See, patent application number and patent number, these are two different things. After grant, they have a different number, that is a patent number. So see again the bioresources used in the invention, and like cow urine, cow dung, calotropis plants, curcuma lunga, neem oil, kanjab, abchi, etc. And the utility. Again, I believe you must experience such utilities of such bioresources and traditional knowledge. So surprisingly, in India, many applications in the field have been granted. Most of the applications in the field of traditional knowledge biotechnology are abandoned, grant versus reject. So most of the applications which are filed are either abandoned or revoked. So abandonment is very high in number as compared to grant. Relatively, number of grants are much lesser than the number of abandonment. So lots of time, funds, and efforts are involved in patenting process, and therefore it's demotivating for the applicants and the innovator to move forward in the subject. So whether patent office should consider the invention based on bioresource and traditional knowledge or not, again, this is a policy matter and subject of debate. So urgent need of certain document to ease evaluation of patentability in the subject will help to facilitate the process of patenting in the subject. There are a lot of things to discuss. So FER, first examination report of such tag application may indicate the objections specifically under section 3P of the Act for TK is hardly around 50%. So most of the times we see the objections in examination report is hardly in 50% applications, they object the section 3P. 3P said for traditional knowledge. So there is hardly much objections on traditional knowledge, but the objections like invention is not new, that is novelty issue, invention is not inventive, this is so obvious, this is a mere admixture. Most of the times we see the objections in such a nature. So trend of filing application based for patent in this field is low due to patentability issue. Due to so many objections, they are relatively very lesser patent applications in this field. So indigenous communities don't have the adequate awareness or fund. So obviously, generally commercial entities like companies filing the applications for patent. So how can we expect from indigenous community to protect their traditional knowledge and biodiversity, the Ayurveda knowledge under the patent system? So they generally file the application. They generally never file the application. They don't have knowledge about the patenting system. A policy in the subject is needed to promote its sustainable utilization and sufficient IP protection. So there must be a policy so that such indigenous community are also aware about it and file the applications, and their application may be considered for patent. So we must ease the patentability criteria so that they can be covered under the patent system. Current provision of the Patent Law of India are obstructive in nature for getting patent on such subject. Why a stakeholder of TK should be deprived of commercial benefit? So हर कोई पैसे बना रहा है, chemical के patents आ रहे हैं, medical patents आ रहे हैं, सारे आ रहे हैं. जो सोसाइटी इतने सालों से अपने बायो रिसोर्स को प्रिजर्व रखा, मेंटेन रखा, सस्टेन किया, नॉलेज कैरी फॉरवर्ड किया जनरेशन टू जनरेशन, वो पैसे नहीं बना पा रहे. वो पेटेंट फाइल नहीं कर रहे. अगर फाइल कर रहे हैं तो उनके पेटेंट ग्रांट नहीं हो रहे. तो अल्टीमेटली पैसे कौन बना रहा है? तो पैसे केवल कॉमर्शियल एंटिटीज, कंपनीज बना पा रही है, ये नहीं बना पा रहे. तो क्या तो पेटेंट सिस्टम इस फील्ड में बंद कर दिया जाए या उनको भी दिया जाए? तो बंद तो कर नहीं सकते क्योंकि ये इंटरनेशनल सिस्टम है. इंडिया के बंद करने से इंडिया का ही नुकसान होगा और सारे कंट्रीज कर ही रहे हैं. तो बेटर है क्या उनको भी कवर कर लें जिनको इसका रियल बेनिफिट भी मिलना चाहिए. So if we have to invite researchers from basic science to ensure quality, safety, and efficacy of traditional knowledge-based medicine, there is an urgent need to amend laws of patent with pragmatic promotional policies. This will encourage more patent on numerous pharmaceutical, nutraceutical, cosmetical products based on traditional knowledge and Ayurveda. So as per the stakeholder comments, the identification of the specific constituents which are the active constituent and further the process to isolate such active constituent may be considered new and inventive or both. Most of the time such isolation process is not considered novel, and most of the times patent office object that such process seems to be obvious. So there must be some policy change so that such a process may be considered inventive. Further, the comments received that any firm methodology judging the patentability discourage R&D and the FDI in the concerned countries. So why any person do investment with such countries where there is hardly much patenting in the subject and further the implementation also. So in order to attract FDI, we need easier patenting so that public can invest for research and development. Further, additional disclosure requirement impose a burden on the applicant as ascertaining the origin of such resources is difficult sometimes. Again, there is substantial time needed to get clearance from NBA, and determining an invention whether based on TK or not is not very clear, is hardly indicated in file wrapper as accessible to the public at patent office. So whatever documents submitted to patent office publish all the documents in their portal. So this is very difficult to figure out whether the invention is based on TK or not. So patent office must take such applications in the field of application, and again in the examination report they specifically mentions TK objections, whether this falls under TK or not. So patent applications in the subject should disqualify if not comply with such international obligations. So patent applications, I think it may be easier, but implementation is must strong, like prior informed consent, mutually agreed terms with the stakeholder, access and benefit sharing, disclosure of origin, so that this must be in public interest, and there may be a better balance in the parties like patentee, the right holder, and the other stakeholders like indigenous societies. So these are some of the suggestions, like there must be some awareness, some promotions, criteria of patentability may be moderated, publication of such news may be promoted to sensitize the society. So continuous addition of unadded traditional knowledge in TKDL. So there is easier to prove the evidence regarding the novelty. So there is hardly such type of news we find, लाइक रामदेव की कंपनी को देना होगा मुनाफे में किसानों को हिस्सा, क्यों भाई? तो नेशनल बायोडायवर्सिटी बोर्ड के लॉज 2002 के अंडर कंपनी को 425 करोड़ रुपए के एक हिस्से, दैट इज 2.4 करोड़ ओनली, तो किसानों से साझा करने को कहा था. तो जनरली पब्लिक ओपिनियन इज such laws is not applicable to them, that may be applicable for foreigners, because there is a weaker interpretation of the laws. First, there is hardly much awareness of the laws among the public, and second, there is a very difficult to interpret such laws, so there is no much case studies or illustration along with such laws. So knowledge should not be restricted, and TK would be treated like gift to the present and future generation from the earlier generation. However, the holder of it should be recognized and incentivized for its commercialization. So there is hardly any sharing in the profit by the entities, including patentee commercializing such resources with the concerned societies. So maintaining such resources and the associated traditional knowledge. So obvious है, जो इतने समय से generation to generation maintain कर रहा है, तो उसको भी तो benefit होना ही चाहिए. तो government ने ये as per the National Biodiversity Act 2002 के अंदर access and benefit sharing का provisions रखा हुआ है. So there are a lot. I think time का issue नहीं हो तो मैं आगे continue करूं. Hello.
Yes, please. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So see, आप देखो नीम हल्दी बासमती बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जिनका कॉस्ट आप देखो 10-20 रुपए केजी के हिसाब से मार्केट में मिल जाएगी. बहुत सारी चीजें ऐसी है बायो रिसोर्सेज, लेकिन जब ये मार्केट में आते हैं तो आप देखो वही 10 रुपए की चीज आपको 500 रुपए में लेनी होती है. और मैं तो केजी का रेट बता रहा था, जब मार्केट में लेते हैं तो 100 ग्राम 200 ग्राम की चीजें भी आपको 500 रुपए के आसपास मिलती है. तो सी सम ऑफ द एग्जाम्पल्स, अगेन सी सम ऑफ द एग्जाम्पल्स. I think you all experience and notice all such examples in newspaper and advertisement, etc. So again, see, over harvesting turn Himalayan Viagra into a vulnerable species. इसकी कॉस्ट है 10 लाख पर केजी. चाइना में ये 20 लाख या उससे भी ऊपर में इसकी डिमांड है. तो कई एक चीजें ऐसी है जिसकी प्रॉपर अवेयरनेस नहीं है, और जिस एरिया में होती है वहां पर अवेयरनेस नहीं होने की वजह से काफी सस्ते में वो चीजें एक्सप्लॉइट कर ली जाती है जो जिनको उसकी पहचान है, तो वो इंटरनेशनल मार्केट में फिर उसको सेल करते हैं. So in view of huge commercial value of traditional knowledge and the associated bioresources, time and again it is reported that numerous entities have misappropriated the traditional knowledge. So IP को नोवल होगा तो वो पेटेंट में कंसीडर हो सकता है. तो ट्रेडिशनल नॉलेज आईपी तो है बट ये नोवल नहीं है. सो पेटेंट में इसको कंसीडर कराना बहुत ही मुश्किल है. But IPR design particularly not only for patent, but it covers geographical indications and trade secrets. So we may get benefits of GI and trade secrets to protect our traditional knowledge and Ayurveda. So this is a really very wonderful tools like patent, GI, trade secrets, and other IPR to protect our Ayurveda and other traditional knowledge and bioresources too. But due to again lack of adequate awareness and knowledge about such IPR and different tools to protect our such a precious information and knowledge which we maintaining since ages, we are losing it. So norms like again prior informed consent, mutually agreed terms, access and benefit sharing. These are the interest of indigenous society and helping maintaining a better balance among the stakeholders, that are the right holders and the others who maintaining such resources. So responsibility of media play a very significant role. So most of the times we are aware about such type of important issues just due to the news and such media roles. So in order to balance, we have to promote such a IPR subject and need for protection of traditional knowledge. You see, importance of traditional knowledge and particularly the associated with bioresources have been well recognized, including during recent COVID pandemic, as serving the first and last hope, as served successfully earlier many times. So time and again, ये इतनी बार help कर चुका है humanity की all over the world. So at the worst time, किसी को कुछ और याद नहीं आता, chemicals or other medicine and drugs, all they see towards the traditional knowledge, Ayurveda. So TK is getting its due recognition as a rational system of medicine worldwide, despite of the fact that medical and scientific fraternity of the globe has very strong opposite opinion regarding safety and efficacy. So most of the times, अभी न्यूज में कितना आया था कि इसकी सेफ्टी नहीं है, एफिकेसी नहीं है. रामदेव की एक मेडिसिन भी थी जो जयपुर के किसी इंस्टीट्यूट से रिसर्च होकर मार्केट में आई थी, तो उस पर बैन लगा दिया. क्यों? इनका नेक्सस इतना बड़ा है कि वो प्रमोट करना ही नहीं चाहते आयुर्वेदा को और ट्रेडिशनल नॉलेज को. तो वो बोलेंगे कि नहीं, इसका एक्सपेरिमेंटल रिजल्ट्स क्या है, सेफ्टी क्या है, एफिकेसी क्या है. अरे ये सिंस टाइम इमेमोरियल यूज में आ रही है, हजारों सालों से यूज आ रही है और सर्व कर रही है ह्यूमैनिटी को. इसके लिए क्लिनिकल ट्रायल की जरूरत ही नहीं है. ये तो यूनिवर्सल फैक्ट है. So they are huge prospecting of traditional knowledge, and so numerous cases of misappropriation of the same. Biopiracy, biopiracy ये word कितना use होता है? Piracy ये theft है. ये biological resources and information based on biological resources की theft है. क्यों? Without prior permission. जो स्टेक होल्डर है, बिना उसके परमिशन के वो इंफॉर्मेशन को कॉमर्शियल यूज करना, यही तो चोरी है. और ये आईपीआर के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में इसको पायरेसी बोलते हैं और बायोलॉजिकल चीजों की है, इसलिए बायोपायरेसी कहलाती है. सो रेगुलेशन ऑफ कमर्शियलाइजेशन ऑफ सच रिसोर्सेज इज नीडेड अर्जेंटली. ट्रेडिशनल नॉलेज, इफ यूटिलाइज प्रॉपर्ली, इट मे चेंज द इकोनॉमिक सिनेरियो ऑफ द कंट्री. यू कांट imagine the value of such resources. It really changed the whole economic scenario of country. Not only India, all such countries, underdeveloped countries, where there is a huge biodiversity and such traditional knowledge, they are not developed just due to they didn't explore such resources and such knowledge, precious knowledge. So there are a lot of many laws, and there is a wonderful story of Kani tribes. I don't think we have enough time to discuss this very interesting success story. I think within few minutes I can bind up this story. Kani tribes. CSIR की एक टीम एक्सप्लोर करने के लिए जंगल में केरला में एक जगह गई, तो वहां पर एक कानी ट्राइब्स उनको मिली. तो कानी ट्राइब्स का उन्होंने हेल्प लिया, क्या वो उनको रास्ता वगैरह दिखा देंगे और कुछ एक्सप्लोर करने में हेल्प करेंगे. तो उन्होंने नोटिस किया कि सारे साइंटिस्ट वगैरह तो बहुत जल्दी थक गए, लेकिन ये कानी ट्राइब्स काफी एनर्जेटिक है और जगह जगह वो पत्ते तोड़ तोड़ के चबा रहे हैं. तो उन्होंने पूछा, भाई व्हाट इज द सोर्स ऑफ योर एनर्जी एंड हाउ यू आर सो एंथुसियास्टिक. तो उन्होंने बताया कि कुछ नहीं, ये जो प्लांट आप देख रहे हो ना, इसकी पत्तियां आप चबाओ, ये काफी एनर्जी बूस्ट करती है. सी हाउ इजीली दे शेयर द इंफॉर्मेशन विद द साइंटिस्ट, एंड सी can you imagine the value of such information? In boosting the energy booster. So see the applications of such things, which that is energy booster, stamina. They are useful in Olympics, games, defense. So there is huge market worldwide. So finally, scientists worked on that Arogya Pacha. The plant name is Arogya Pacha, and they finally extract the active ingredients and patent it. And after patenting, they successfully commercialized the patented invention. And whatever the royalties they earn, they share the benefit with the Kani tribes and see the quality of life before such sharing the benefit and after sharing the benefits. They are now in a streamline, general streamline. So there are very few such cases, successful case studies of sharing the benefits based on patenting and royalties earned on patented invention. So they are huge researcher output in the field of traditional knowledge, and this should be preferred for patenting. And if they people efforts for commercializing it, because scientists generally don't manufacture and sell the things, so they can only either assign or license it to any commercial entity so that they can manufacture and sell in the market. So further, there are several issues related to the patenting, like inventorship, person who may apply for its IPR like patent or GI or other things, arrangement between the local indigenous society and the commercial entities. So there are some patentability issues also. So there are some international initiatives in the field, like conventions on biodiversity, Nagoya Protocol, WTO TRIPS, UPO, etc. So accordingly, India, being a member of such international bodies, developed according their norms, indigenous norms. We have TKDL. There is no any international initiatives regarding it. In fact, after recognition of such tools, WIPO suggests all the member countries to devise some sort of such tools in their nations. And as per the conventions on biodiversity, we have Indian Biological Diversity Act. And as per the Nagoya Protocol in India, we have guideline on access and benefit sharing in 2014. And as per WTO TRIPS, we have 7 IPR, patent design, trademark, copyright, industrial design, and relevant IPR here is the Protection of Plant Variety and Farmers' Right Act. And we have Patent Act amended thrice. 3 बार अमेंड हुआ है, तब जाकर इंटरनेशनल नॉर्म्स के अकॉर्डिंग आया है, क्योंकि हर कंट्री के पास कुछ रिजर्वेशंस होता है एज पर द कंट्री रिक्वायरमेंट. दे कांट कंप्लाई द इंटरनेशनल norms, and they can take some times to come with the international norms guideline. So there is a need for harmonized method to balance the interest of traditional societies and the commercial entities. Till now, none of the international authorities are clarifying on the benefit to the community, if at all, from sharing their traditional knowledge to the commercial entities or the society, and such issues are still under dialogue. So still international fraternity working on the subject and try to find out some tools so that the stakeholder like indigenous society may get adequate benefit. So if we see the Indian chapter, year-wise, there are some laws like patent laws, GI laws, plant varieties laws, biodiversity laws. So there are some different authorities like Patent Office, CSIR, GI Registry, PPVFRA Authority, National Biodiversity Authority, and most of such a thing authorities comes under Ministry of Commerce and Industry, and some are in other ministries like Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Environment, etc. So these are some of the norms and the observations. Regarding patent, it's vague as mere having any connection with traditional knowledge, objection raised on patentability. Further, there is an extra burden to get approval from NB. So these are some negative points in the Patent Act. So this is not so easy to get patent in the field of traditional knowledge and Ayurveda and bioresources. So there are some other tools like GI and PPVFRA, biodiversity rules, guideline on access and benefit sharing. So these are some of the options for fair and adequate benefit sharing. So such benefits may be monetary and non-monetary. In monetary benefits, we see excess fee, upfront fee, milestone payment, payment of royalties, license fee, a special fee, salaries and preferential terms, research funding, joint venture, joint ownership, and in non-monetary benefits like sharing of research and development results, collaboration, cooperation, contribution in scientific research and development, participation in product development, collaboration, cooperation, and contribution in education and training. So there are a lot of things which we can help such a indigenous society by non-monetary terms also, like the recognition, social recognition, food and security, contribution to the local economy, access to scientific information, training, skill development. So these are, as per the benefit sharing, these are some of the norms under NBA for commercial utilization of such bioresources and associated traditional knowledge. 1 to 3% of purchase price of biological resources for trader, and not less than 3% of purchase price in case applicant has entered in benefit sharing agreement. So in both cases, whether applicant has entered in benefit sharing agreement or not entered in benefit sharing agreement, as per the law, there are some percentage in the purchase price, and for traders and manufacturers, you see. So as per annual gross ex factory sale of product up to 1 crore, benefit sharing component is 0.1%. And if the annual gross ex factory sale is 1 crore to 3 crore, it's a 0.2%. And it's above 3 crore, it's a 0.5% benefit sharing components. So this is just like income tax slab. So individual country is free to make policy to protect traditional knowledge and Ayurveda knowledge nationally. Due to national limitation, there is a need for an international framework. So far there is no international framework to make policy and implement in this subject. So international protection would have also opened up access to minds of traditional knowledge. We don't know traditional knowledge about other countries like Africa and others. So if there is a policy and to motivate the stakeholder like indigenous society worldwide, they can share the traditional knowledge, and such traditional knowledge can be documented, and such a database can be shared internationally, so that all the people all over the world can get benefits out of such minds of traditional knowledge. So international regime for the recognition and protection of TKR, CVD, Nagoya Protocol, WIPO, IGC, and UNDRIP. So some of the recommendations like PIC, MAT, ABCS are some of the most useful arrangement to balance the interest of a stakeholder, and Biodiversity Act is one of the most useful act in the subject. So interaction with member of the authority like NBA can be done while raising concern and critical issue with them. Some of them are mentioned below. To teach and team up with government official and ministers like MP, MLA by means of sequence of conversations in conducted meetings, to create memos and declaration not only district-wise, state-wise, but also nationwide, to work for diffusing consciousness concerning such topic and communities, non-government organizations, public officials, to do instantaneous objections through subsequent next parliament session, demand for proper action, and a schedule for meeting of such person having objections. The native district and country-wise news and TV channels can be a strike to elevate consciousness of the subject matter, pressurizing on the seriousness of a state of affairs, to initiate recruitment of Gram Panchayat and Sabha to contest creating biodiversity management committee via existing regulation and set of law. देखिए, अगर ये सारी चीजें हो जाती है तो हर हालत में ये जो स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं जो मेंटेन कर रहे हैं इस बायोडाइवर्सिटी को, पास ऑन कर रहे हैं इस नॉलेज को, उनको एक कॉमर्शियल बेनिफिट मिल पाएगा, अदरवाइज दे आर प्रोन टू बायोपायरेसी. So again, some of the recommendation: awareness on the subject is needed, unfair business practice needed to be regulated. So biopiracy क्या unfair business practice ही तो है, and business without ethics should not be promoted. So implementation of penal clause of laws is required to be applied. Publication of such news need to be promoted, and successful case of sharing the benefits should be promoted, like Kani tribes. Thank you very much for your kind patience.
म्यूट है आप पवन जी. पवन जी आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही, आप म्यूट हो गए. Anyway, thank you so much, Dr. Pankaj Kumar ji.
Excellent.
आप फिर म्यूट हो गए. प्रोफेसर पवन शर्मा जी आप म्यूट हैं. So you addressed a lot on the very current topic of today's webinar, that what is the real importance of IPR with special reference to our say Ayurvedic system or worldwide any invention. If any scientist or any inventor decides to get that knowledge or that product say patent on his name, that is a very tedious job. You've got three points. Number one, it is very expensive to apply and to get. The other point is that nobody can get the patent all over world. In which country he will apply? If that country sanctions, then he will get the that license or patent simply for that country. And you also underlined the very important and constructive role of TKDL, on contrary of Dr. Amit, which he was telling that because of the TKDL, small in say researchers are seen, and he was denied for the patent in India on Brahmi. So a very intelligent, a very knowledgeable address given by you, Dr. Pankaj ji. And our one more important pleasure that what we are seeing, we are getting our two very, very important and respected dignitaries, those who were not found in 2022, we got in 2023. And he is our Ved Guru, Nadi Guru Acharya Sanjay Chhajer ji, and also our respected Jagdishwar Doma ji. We were not associated with him in the last months of our outgoing year 2022, and we got on today 2023. So most welcome you are. And now over to Pawan Sharma ji. Pawan Sharma ji's mic is mute. Professor Pawan Sharma ji, please unmute. Your mic is mute. It's still mute. Yes.
Internet is unstable, sir, here.
Yes. That's why I took the
Really,
responsibility.
Pankaj ji, unique, like patent. Pankaj ji is also unique. He has communicated everything, and we will be troubling him again and again to understand the patent in detail. Thank you very much. And now Pankaj ji was introduced by Dr. Naveen Garg. Really, Naveen, thank you very much. So before Sanjay ji, my friend, my brother, Nadi Guru Sanjay Acharya ji is with us. Welcome, Dr. Sanjay. And before Sanjay ji, for brief sharing of experiences, our third speaker, I would like to invite Dr. Naveen Kumar Garg from Mumbai. Welcome, Dr. Naveen. Please unmute yourself. Yes.
Dr. Pankaj ji also highlighted one very important thing, and that is eye-opener, that 7 crore rupees were in the history of the regarding the basmati rice. Very, very important. 7 crore. Who can afford that one to get the patent for this basmati rice? Very, very interesting. Yes. Thank you. Yes. Most welcome, Dr. Naveen Kumar Garg ji. Yes, please.
Naveen ji has also patent on his name. Great. Welcome, Naveen ji. Welcome.
सभी को मेरा प्रणाम। सर मेरा स्क्रीन दिख रहा है आपको? प्रेजेंटेशन मैंने शेयर किया है।
स्क्रीन दिख रहा है, प्रेजेंटेशन नहीं। हाँ, now it is opening. Please go to slideshow mode.
Now is it okay?
You can go for slideshow like presentation. So slide size will be maximized.
Yes.
Yes.
Is it okay, sir?
Yes, excellent.
यस सभी को मेरा प्रणाम। सभी जो हैं, इसमें सबसे पहले मैं धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूं जो ऑर्गेनाइजर्स हैं, डॉक्टर पवन कुमार शर्मा जी, उनको सभी को उनको तहे दिल से धन्यवाद। और मैं साथ के साथ मेरे जो मुझे पेटेंट ग्रांट हुआ है इंडियन पेटेंट एक्ट के माध्यम से, तो उसमें सबसे बड़ा रोल जो है डॉक्टर पंकज कुमार जी का रहा है, वो मेरे गाइड रहे हैं। तो उन्हीं के रेफरेंस से और उन्हीं के अंडर में थोड़ा पेटेंट का जो फाइलिंग है और जो एग्जामिनेशन रिपोर्ट का रिप्लाई है, उन्हीं ने ही जो है एडवाइजरी किया है एज ए लीगल एडवाइजर, एज ए पेटेंट एडवाइजर। मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूं तहे दिल से डॉक्टर पंकज कुमार सर को, जिन्होंने काफी इस ट्रेडिशनल नॉलेज से रिलेटेड काफी एग्जामिनेशन रिपोर्ट्स में पॉइंट्स थे, तो उनका रिप्लाई एक प्रोसेस पेटेंट के रूप में जो दिया है, तो उसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। तो मैं जस्ट आई एम नॉट एक्सपर्ट रिलेटेड टू दिस IPR सेशन. आई एम शेयरिंग माय नॉलेज और शेयरिंग माय एक्सपीरियंस बिकॉज आई हैव अप्लाइड patent in 2012 and granted after 7 years. I have granted the patent in 2019. Most of 7 years I have worked with the IPR office with the different advisors related to the minimize the cost of patent, because I was the student in these days of PhD, and the lack of money, I have a lot of struggles I have done with the directly government offices. I have visited a lot of more time with the government offices and a lot of with the as a single army work. The topic is patent future magic bullet of polyherbaceuticals formulation for treatment of hypertension. This is the title of patent as a process patent that is was granted in 2019. And in 2020 I have transferred this technology to the manufacturing unit. It means in for the commercialization as a on the basis of royalty, I have transferred this technology to the industry already. And I was also copyright holder of book. I have written a book, Ayurveda and Herbal Drugs, a testing protocol for quality control, and this was copyrighted, and this is a part of also IPR, intellectual property right. And I have made up a software related to the compliance of Schedule T as per Drug and Cosmetic Act to the welfare of AYUSH manufacturers, and that was copyrighted under the Indian Copyright Act, along with the Dr. Mahesh Sharma sir, ex-licensing authority. He is my mentor, guide, and the partner of this software. These are also covered under the IPR. So I think there are the three things related to the process patent, book, and software. That are three things are covered under the IPR, that with special reference to the AYUSH field. Related to the introductory part of IPR, it is defined as the legitimated rights of the inventor and protection of the intellectual property that exclude others to making, copying, selling his proprietary subject matter. First, in this patent, like innovation or invention, in the part of equipment, in the part of product, in the part of process, that are covered in the patent. And copyright means any things that not be copied by the other persons and other organizations, like book, software, and IT applications. Trademark, it is the brand name that cannot be used by the others. And trade design, that is the pictorial presentation that cannot be used by the other. These are the four major components that are covered in the IPR. I think my mentor or guide, Dr. Pankaj Kumar sir, has described in detail related to the what are the benefits and what are the patentable or non-patentable under the field of the AYUSH. Head office of the patent is in Kolkata in Pan India level, and branch office is Mumbai, Delhi and Chennai. That is under the Indian Patent Act 1970 under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Expiry and validity of patent is the 20 years. And sir, I have covered all things in the simple way or in simple language. And the every year renewal or submission of progress report is very mandatory. If your patent is not utilizing in the commercial way, in the not utilizing to the society, then the patent abundance will be there by the patent office. It means every year progress report we have to submit to the patent office related to the commercialization and the utility to the industries. These are the websites and portals of patents and under the Ministry of Commerce, intellectual property rights. Invention must, that is also product and process or both, that shall be the noble or nobility and involve the inventive state, means not obvious, and it might be applied for the industry, and utility will be important to the society. That is the more important criteria or eligibility to the granting of patent. Patentable natural products. With relevance to the natural product or Ayurvedic or AYUSH drugs, and I have isolated some concluded points related to the patentable natural products. यदि कोई भी नया कंपोजिशन है, प्रोप्राइटरी कंपोजिशन, ये मैंने सब अपने एक्सपीरियंस से सब लिखने का कोशिश किया है, तो कोई भी नया कंपोजिशन है जिसको अपन प्रोप्राइटरी प्रोडक्ट बोलते हैं, जिसका कहीं पे भी कोई पब्लिकेशन नहीं है, तो वो पेटेंट हो सकता है, उस प्रोडक्ट का पेटेंट करवाया जा सकता है। और यदि कोई क्लासिकल फॉर्मुलेशन है और उसमें यदि कुछ ऐसे इंग्रेडिएंट्स हम ऐड कर दें और जिससे उसकी एफिकेसी और इफेक्टिवनेस और सिनर्जिस्टिक इफेक्ट इंप्रूव हो जाए, दैट मे बी द पेटेंटेबल. फर्स्ट इज द रिलेटेड टू द न्यू कंपोजिशन शैल बी पेटेंटेबल. सेकंड इज पेटेंट फॉर द न्यू यूज ऑफ हर्बल कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट्स. यदि कोई हर्बल कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट है, हर्बल कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट इट मीन्स कोई ऐसी वेल नोन ड्रग जिसका टीकेडीएल में रेफरेंस है लेकिन उसका यूज नया है, जो कि किसी भी हमारी रेफरेंस बुक्स में उसका यूज डिक्लेयर नहीं है, दैट मे बी द पेटेंटेबल ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ द डाटा ऑफ सेफ्टी एंड एफिकेसी. एंड मॉडिफिकेशन एंड सिंथेसिस ऑफ नेचुरल कंपाउंड्स. यदि कोई नया नेचुरल कंपाउंड्स का मॉडिफिकेशन होता है, सिंथेसिस होता है, इट मीन्स आइसोलेटेड नेचुरल कंपाउंड फ्रॉम द एक्सट्रैक्ट and the modification in the structural activities to generate the synthetic compound, that may be the patentable. It means like example is atropa belladonna, and the atropine is isolated compound from the atropa belladonna with relevant activity of sympathomimetic activities, that may be the patentable. And novel isolated process, it means यदि कोई process कोई भी सिंथेटिक कंपाउंड या कोई भी फाइटोकेमिकल का आइसोलेशन का जो तरीका है, विधि है, प्रोसेस है, वो बिल्कुल डिफरेंट है. यदि नीम से एजाडायराचिटीन निकाला जाए और उसका आइसोलेशन का प्रोसेस ही नोवल है, इट मीन्स यदि बहुत कम समय में हम नीम से एजाडायराचिटीन या निम्बिन जो फाइटोकेमिकल्स हैं उनको निकाल लेते हैं, तो उसका नया नोवल आइसोलेशन प्रोसेस भी patentable hai. It means novelty in the process of isolation of phytoconstituents from the extract of the plant. And the new application of isolated compound. यदि कोई भी isolated compound या single phytochemicals की activity एज एक डिफरेंट एक्टिविटी है, उसका नया एप्लीकेशन है. जैसे कुरकुमिन को हम यदि किसी भी डोजेस फॉर्म में एज एडिटिव्स और एक्सिपिएंट यूज करें एज ए स्टेबलाइजिंग एजेंट, दैट इज द पेटेंट न्यू आइडिया ऑफ द पेटेंटेबिलिटी, लाइक कुरकुमिन एज ए स्टेबलाइजिंग एजेंट दैट विल बी यूजफुल टू प्रिपेयर द डोजेस फॉर्म लाइक टैबलेट. इट मीन्स जैसे हम बात करें ग्वारगम की बात करें, तो ग्वारगम एक ऐसा प्लांट कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट है जिसका यूज थेरेपेटिक भी है और वो डोजेस फॉर्म डेवलप करने में हेल्प करता है, एज ए एक्सिपिएंट ड्रग एंड कॉस्मेटिक एक्ट में डिक्लेयर है। तो उसका डबल रोल है कि वो उसका अपना एफिकेसी भी है, क्लिनिकल यूज भी है, साथ में वो एक डोजेस फॉर्म को भी डेवलप कर रहा है, एज ए एडिटिव्स उसको यूज किया जा रहा है, दैट मे बी द पेटेंटेबल। द इन्वेंशन विद नोवेलिटीज, इट मींस कोई भी इन्वेंशन है उसमें कुछ नयापन है। जैसे हम पेस्टिसाइड्स, सारे अभी तक जो पेस्टिसाइड्स हैं वो सब केमिकल बेस्ड है, और कोई ऐसा पेस्टिसाइड जो नेचुरल पेस्टिसाइड है या बायो पेस्टिसाइड है, इस तरह का फॉर्मुलेशन यदि कोई डेवलप किया जाए तो इट मींस इट मे बी द पेटेंटेबल। एंड बायोटेक्नोलॉजी रिलेटेड प्रोडक्ट, इट मे बी द पेटेंटेबल। यदि हम कोई नेचुरल प्रोडक्ट में बायोटेक्नोलॉजी एक सब्जेक्ट का इनकॉर्पोरेशन करते हैं तो इट मे बी द पेटेंटेबल। एंड द नेचुरल प्रोडक्ट प्यूरिफिकेशन, यदि कोई प्यूरिफिकेशन का तरीका इन्वेंटिव है या नोवेलिटी है, इट मींस यदि कोई हम बात करें, बहुत सारी भस्में हैं हमारी, बहुत सारी रसौषधियां हैं, बहुत शेड्यूल इवन के प्रोडक्ट्स हैं। शेड्यूल इवन मतलब भांग है और अफीम है, आपका नक्स वोमिका है। तो इन सब प्रोडक्ट्स का हम प्यूरिफिकेशन की बात करें और कोई नया तरीका हम प्यूरिफिकेशन का खोज लेते हैं, इट मे बी द पेटेंटेबल। मतलब यदि कोई पब्लिकेशन नहीं होना चाहिए और पीकेडीएल में उसका रेफरेंस नहीं मिलना चाहिए, और इस तरह के जो मैंने आइडियाज आपको शेयर कर रहा हूं, तो ये सब पेटेंटेबल है। और यदि कोई नोवल डोजेस फॉर्म यदि हम डेवलप करते हैं, कोई ऐसी डोजेस फॉर्म इज like a tablet, capsule, syrup, asavarist, oils, arcs, and these are the dosage form that are declared under the drug and cosmetic act. यदि हम कोई नया डोजेस फॉर्म डेवलप करते हैं जिसका एग्जिस्टिंग डोजेस फॉर्म से ज्यादा इफेक्टिवनेस है या साइनर्जिस्टिक इफेक्ट कंटेंट्स का उस डोजेस फॉर्म डेवलप करने से ज्यादा आ रहा है, इट मे बी द पेटेंटेबल। दीज आर द अनदर आइडिया for the enhance the chances of the patentability. So these are the ideas, or these are the components that may be the patentable with relevant to the AYUSH products only, Ayurveda Unani Siddha products only, that may be the useful for the therapeutic purpose. These are the patentable things or ideas for the natural products. Non patentable subject matter, क्या क्या चीजें पेटेंट नहीं हो सकती हैं उसका एक आइडिया है। डिस्कवरीज, जो जितनी भी डिस्कवरीज हैं, दैट नॉट बी पेटेंटेबल। मेथड ऑफ डिटेक्शन, डायग्नोसिस एंड ट्रीटमेंट ऑफ डिजीज, यदि कोई बीमारी को सही करने का डायग्नोसिस है या ट्रीटमेंट है, वो भी पेटेंट नहीं हो सकता। कोई भी एनालिटिकल मेथड है, एनालिटिकल मतलब आपका टेस्टिंग मेथड, वो भी पेटेंटेबल नहीं हो सकता, क्योंकि उसमें कुछ टेस्टिंग, इट मींस हम इंश्योर कर रहे हैं कोई भी चीज को, तो वो भी पेटेंटेबल नहीं है। टीकेडीएल में यदि किसी चीज का रेफरेंस है, क्योंकि जब मेरा फर्स्ट एग्जामिनेशन रिपोर्ट आया था तो उसमें अराउंड 6 to 7 पॉइंट्स थे, जिसमें 4 पॉइंट्स टीकेडीएल से ही रेफर्ड थे सारे पॉइंट्स। तो उनका फिर हमने टीकेडीएल की लाइब्रेरी से पब्लिकेशन इशू करवाया, देन वी कंपैरिजन चार्ट दिया कि टीकेडीएल में क्या बोल रहे हैं और हमने क्या किया है, उसको कंपैरेटिवली स्टडी करके हमने सबमिट किया। So TKDL is very important and very important component with relevance to the AYUSH field, and that is mostly in first examination report TKDL issues will be there. And the product made by the chemical synthesis, यदि कोई chemical synthesis से नया product बन रहा है तो वो भी patentable नहीं है। और method of cultivation and agriculture, ये भी सब patentable नहीं है। तो ये कुछ things हैं जो पेटेंटेबल नहीं हो सकता है अंडर द फील्ड ऑफ एंड रिलेटेड टू द फील्ड ऑफ आयुष, दैट इज द नॉन पेटेंटेबल सब्जेक्ट मैटर। स्कोप एंड ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ द पेटेंट्स विद रेफरेंस टू द इंस्टीट्यूट एंड यूनिवर्सिटी, क्या क्या स्कोप हैं, क्या क्या ऑब्जेक्टिव्स हैं, क्या इंस्टीट्यूट्स को और यूनिवर्सिटीज को या रिसर्च सेंटर्स को फायदा हो सकता है पेटेंट से, तो वो मैंने लिखने का कोशिश किया है। कि सबसे पहले इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी का प्रोटेक्शन, यदि कोई भी हमारा इनोवेशन है, इन्वेंशन है या नोवेलिटी है, उसका हमें प्रोटेक्शन मिलता है, लीगल राइट्स मिलते हैं फ्रॉम द गवर्नमेंट। और जैसे ही हमारा पेटेंट एप्लीकेशन होता है तो सबसे पहले इंडियन पेटेंट जर्नल ऑफ इंडियन पेटेंट्स एक जर्नल है जो कि पब्लिश करता है आपका रिसर्च को। तो ये भी एक जर्नल है, जैसे हम एमडी या पीएचडी थीसिस में मैंडेटरी होता है कि आपके 2 या 3 पेपर्स होने चाहिए, तो वो भी उसके इक्विवेलेंट ही ये वैल्यू रखता है, क्योंकि जब मेरा सेम टॉपिक था पेटेंट का और उसी टॉपिक पे ही मेरा पीएचडी कंप्लीट हुआ है, तो मैंने कोलैबोरेट किया है पेटेंट को पीएचडी से, तो मैंने रेफरेंस दिया है कि जर्नल ऑफ इंडियन पेटेंट्स में मेरा रिसर्च पेपर पब्लिश्ड है, तो दैट इज इंपॉर्टेंट क्राइटेरिया फॉर द पीएचडी और एमडी स्कॉलर्स. And creating the absolute monopolies in the market, that is well aware about the same, and to ensure the commercial return to the inventor and time and money spent to generating the new product and process. जो भी आपने अपना समय इन्वेस्ट किया है या मनी इन्वेस्ट की है इन्वेंशन के लिए, पेटेंट करवाने के लिए, उसका कॉमर्शियल राइट को एंश्योर करने के लिए पेटेंट बहुत जरूरी है, और पेटेंट ही उसका कॉमर्शियल रिटर्न दिलवाता है, और मेरा एक्सपीरियंस भी रहा है कि मुझे कॉमर्शियल रिटर्न मिल भी रहा है. Impart the safety of biodiversity in the National Biodiversity Act. तो हमारा बायोडाइवर्सिटी को भी सेफ रखने के लिए, नेचर को सेफ करने के लिए बायोडाइवर्सिटी अथॉरिटी से भी हमें लड़ना पड़ेगा यदि हमें आयुष से रिलेवेंसी में हमें पेटेंट में जाना है, क्योंकि बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि हम नेचुरल थिंग्स को यूज कर रहे हैं पेटेंटेबिलिटी के लिए, और उसको कॉमर्शलाइज भी वो चीज होने वाली है. जैसे अभी पंकज सर ने बाबा रामदेव का उदाहरण दिया कि बायोडाइवर्सिटी से एनओसी जरूरी है, और बायोडाइवर्सिटी अथॉरिटी से आपका एग्रीमेंट होगा कि जो भी आपको कॉमर्शियल रिटर्न मिलेगा उसका कुछ परसेंटेज एनबीए को जाएगा, और वो भी हमारे नेशन के लिए और नेचर के लिए, सेफ्टी के लिए बहुत अच्छी चीज है. एंड वैल्यू एडिशन ऑफ एमडी एंड पीएचडी थीसिस, जो भी एमडी या पीएचडी थीसिस कर रहे हैं तो उसका एक अलग ही ग्रेविटी और वेटेज मिलेगा. तो ये विद रेस्पेक्ट टू द इंस्टीट्यूट और यूनिवर्सिटीज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट with relevance to the research. These are the scope for the universities and the institutes. And what are the objectives? To encourage the research and inventions. It includes the inventor to disclose his invention instead of the keeping them at trade. It offers the reward for the expenses for developing the invention to the stage at they are commercially practical, and it provides the inducement to invest capital in new lines of the product which might not be appear profitable if many competing producers embark to the simultaneously. These are the objective related to the patents. And what are the process for the patent grant? I have tried to simplify the process to know the how to proceed the patent application to the patent office and what are the procedure. Firstly, we have inventor or research applied to the patent office, and the application review and check will be done related to the scope, fees, time scales, hearing, file reviews, final reviews and decisions. These are the different stages and steps of the patent office to proceed the patent up to the grant. And the first application you have done, then publication by the patent office in public, and the journal of patent have been conducted, and the examination will be done, and the first examination report, second examination report, third examination reports will be conducted by the patent office, by the patent examiners. Then after, you have to face the hearings. It means like as a viva, you have to with help of the patent agent, you have to compete with the examiners in face-to-face discussion or online discussion related to the up to the satisfaction mark to the examiners to issue the grant of the patent. That is very important and the critical to with respect to the traditional knowledge. And the surveillance will be done every year. You have to renew the patent and you have to update the progress of the patent to the patent office to alive the patent within the 20 years. This is the simplify the process for the patent grant. Checklist for the filling the application. These are the checklist of the documents. You have to prepare the documents or related to the application. First, you have to decide the title of the patent, field of invention, background of invention, object of invention, abstract, summary, prior art. Prior art means literature review, and the prior descriptive art, detailed description, pilot study modules, and we claim. These are the different components of the patent application you have to prepare on the basis of the technical competency of your invention. That is very important, and like as a writing a research paper. This is the upgraded version of the research paper, that is the patent filing. These are the components you have to include in as a complete application to the patent office. And the first filing, first you have to filing the patent application to the patent office with required fees, and the all information available on the website ipindia.nic.in, and guidelines available on website. Firstly, initial evaluation and review will be done. The examiner checks the formal requirement before accepting the application and fees, and this is done immediately. And issue of application number and the cash receipt, this is done by the patent office in the same day. And in case of the receipt of the application by post, cash receipt and application number sent by the post within the 2 or 3 days. And the publication, application is kept in secret for the 18 months from the date of application. In 19 months, application is published in the official journal of Indian patent, and this journal is made available on the website weekly. And the applicant has option to get his application published before 18 months also, in case publication is published within 1 month as request for the special request. And request for the examination, application is examination on request. Request for examination can be made either by the applicant or by the third party like patent agent or advocate. And if period of the 48 months from the date of filing is available for making a request for the examination. The examination, patent is sent to the examiner within the 1 month from the date of request for examination, and examiner undertake the examination with respect to whether the claimed invention is not prohibited for the grant of patent. यदि आपका किसी ने अपोजिशन नहीं किया तो वो एग्जामिनेशन में आपका पेटेंट चला जाएगा और फिर उसका चेक किया जाएगा कि आपका पेटेंट का क्राइटेरिया में वो आपका इन्वेंशन है या नहीं. उसके बाद issue of FER, first examination report, a period of 1 to 3 months is available to the examiner to submit the report to the controller. पेटेंट कंट्रोलर को एग्जामिनर 1 से 3 महीने के अंदर रिपोर्ट सबमिट करेगा. इसमें 1 month टाइम इज अवेलेबल टू द कंट्रोलर टू गेट द एग्जामिनर रिपोर्ट. 1 महीना जो है कंट्रोलर के पास टाइम होता है उसको रिव्यू करने के लिए. एंड फर्स्ट एग्जामिनेशन रिपोर्ट containing the gist of the objection is issued within the 6 months from the date of filing of request. 6 महीने का टाइम मिलता है उस फर्स्ट एग्जामिनेशन रिपोर्ट के लिए. फिर एप्लीकेंट उसका रेस्पॉन्ड करता है 12 महीने में. डेट ऑफ द फर्स्ट एग्जामिनेशन रिपोर्ट 12 months will be provided to the applicant to complete the all issues related to the patent, and its objections are met to the grant of patent approved by the controller within the 1 month. And pre-grant opposition after the publication, and opposition can be filed within the period of 6 months, and opportunity of hearing of opponent is also available. And examination of pre-grant opposition is sent to the applicant. A period of 3 months is allowed to the receipt of response. And consideration of pre-grant after examining the opposition of submission made during the hearing of controller, either the reject the opposition and grant the patent, or accept the opposition and modify or reject the patent application. This is to be done within the 1 month from the date of completion of opposition proceedings. And grant of the patent, a certificate of patent is issued within the 7 days, and date of the patent, grant of the patent is published in the official journals. These are the stages to be patent received in the short in the flow chart. I have already described the all details in very descriptive manner, and these are the summarized in one chart relevant to the application to grant the patent with the concerned timeline also. Sample copies of the credentials. कुछ क्रेडेंशियल्स जो है आपके साथ अटैच होते हैं पेटेंट के साथ साथ, जिसमें आपको ऑर्डर मिलता है, ऑर्डर इंटीमेशन बाय द पेटेंट ऑफिस, पेटेंट सर्टिफिकेट, मीडिया पब्लिकेशन, रिन्यूअल ऑफ सर्टिफिकेशन, लेबल ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट, NB agreement and commercial agreement as a technological transfer. These are the valuable things like as a documentary proof with relevant to the patent. That is very important. These are the document after the patent you have to keep and utilize in the commercial way. And commercial transfer in terms of the commercial, यदि नॉन एक्सक्लूसिव राइट है, नॉन एक्सक्लूसिव राइट जिसमें रॉयल्टी ऑन द सेल आप 5 से 10 लाख रुपए एडवांस में ले सकते हो, 3 से 6% आप रॉयल्टी ले सकते हो जितनी भी सेल होती है। या तो आप सेल पे रॉयल्टी लो या फिर टाइम पे रॉयल्टी लो। 5 से 10 लाख आप एडवांस ले लें और फिर 3 से 4 लाख रुपए पर ईयर आप या पर मंथ आप उस पेटेंट की ग्रेविटी को देखते हुए ले सकते हैं। तो ये नॉन एक्सक्लूसिव राइट है विद रेस्पेक्ट ऑफ पेटेंट। और एक्सक्लूसिव राइट में ओनली वन टाइम। नॉन एक्सक्लूसिव मींस आप लाइसेंस दे रहे हो, मतलब आप कितने भी स्टेक होल्डर्स को लाइसेंस दे सकते हो उस पेटेंट को कॉमर्शलाइज करने के लिए। तो आप जितने भी स्टेक होल्डर्स को लाइसेंस दे रहे हो उन सबसे आप मनी कलेक्ट कर सकते हो। और एडवांस लेना इसलिए जरूरी है कि यदि उन्होंने सेल नहीं किया, उन्होंने सिर्फ आपके साथ एग्रीमेंट कर लिया, तो फिर आप के पास क्या है, आप फिर यदि वो फ्रॉडी है, यदि उस पर और केस भी करना है, कुछ लीगल एक्शन भी लेना है, तो आपके पास कुछ एडवांस उनके एडवांस पेमेंट आपके प्रॉपर्टी का होना चाहिए, क्योंकि आप अपनी प्रॉपर्टी सेल कर रहे हो उसको। तो प्रॉपर्टी सेल करने के एवज में नॉन एक्सक्लूसिव राइट में आप कुछ अमाउंट एडवांस लें और उसके बाद आप टाइम बेसिस पे और सेल्स के बेसिस पे उनसे रॉयल्टी ले सकते हैं। और एक्सक्लूसिव राइट में कि आप एक ही पर्सन को एक टाइम में पूरा कंप्लीट पेटेंट दे रहे हो, तो 1 से 1.5 करोड़ का एक क्राइटेरिया है जो नॉर्मली चलता है, तो उसमें रॉयल्टी नहीं होती है, तो वन टाइम आप एक्सक्लूसिव राइट लेके ये दे सकते हो। तो मेरे पेटेंट से रिलेटेड जो है मैंने लिखा है उसमें फिगर कि 7 लाख रुपीज एडवांस और 5% ऑन द सेल एज डिसाइडेड ऑन द लीगल एग्रीमेंट विद द इंडस्ट्री। फाइनेंशियल असिस्टेंट एंड टेक्नोलॉजी ट्रांसफर। यदि आपके पास पेटेंट है और आपकी प्रॉपर्टी है, तो आपके लिए कौन हेल्प करेगा उसको टेक्नोलॉजी ट्रांसफर करने के लिए, या इंडस्ट्रीज को कैसे मालूम पड़ेगा कि आपके पास पेटेंट है? तो इट मींस academia or industry collaboration, that is very important, and lot of organizations are working to fill this gap in between the academia or industry, like CCRAS. CCRAS is working on the under the Ministry of AYUSH, that is working on the patent on intellectual property right. Central Council Research in the Ayurveda Science. And patent technology transfer, Central Institute of Medicinal Aromatic Plant, CMAP, that is very important to update the innovation and invention with relevant to the industries. And the DST, Patent Facilitating Center, under the each state under the Department of Science and Technology, DST. Biotechnology Industry Research Assistance Council, BIRAC, is non-profitable organization working under the Department of Biotechnology, that is relevant to the AYUSH field. And the National Research Development Corporation, NRDC, is working under the Ministry of Science and Technology, that is also helping to us the transferring the technology to the institutes or academias to the industries in the way of commercials. And these are the lot of products under the market that are the patented under the CCRA, Central Council of Research and Ayurveda Science, like BZR 34, IU 64, IME 9, sugar, right sugars. These are the products are patented by the CCRAS and the collaborated with the industries in the common assignment and to promote on the basis of the intellectual property right in the way of commercials in market. Thank you so much, and thank you the organizer to giving the opportunity and keep the patience during my communication. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Naveen Kumar Garg ji, as you detailed presented your whole of the history, how you got the patents on some of your things and how your work was related with the PhD work also. And also you touched the great contribution of Dr. Pankaj Kumar ji as your mentor and as your guide. Of course, he in very beginning started the guidelines for this sort of patent and all that. So I think our today, and thank you so much for all the sectors you touched on your very intelligent and very knowledgeable presentation. Well, with this, these three our distinguished guest speakers, we came to the point where the guest speakers presentation is over. So this allows me to conduct the group discussion and take the questions and queries and suggestions. I've got two suggestions in chat box. One from, of course, our Nali Charyer ji, and other one is from Dr. Hari Sharma ji. Hari Sharma ji addressed to Amit ji regarding some of the doubts. At the same time, Dr. Acharya, our Vegji, Charyer ji pointed out a very sad story for which he became the victim. He had to pay 5 lakh rupees for simply using the name of the our Rishi and of Brihatrai. See, so many clinics and say diagnostic centers are using the name Cherak Pathology Lab, Sumantu Polyclinic, Dhanvantri Ultrasound Center. These are here in Haridwar itself. So I don't know whether to which extent they have got the patent on these names or they have paid the penalty. So very interesting and very sad, say, episode with our Sanjay Chajerji. So these two persons, both are very senior and very means always cooperative to us, our webinar. So if Dr. Amit Agrawal ji is with us, he may say communicate any answer for the question raised by our respected Harish Verma ji from Toronto, Canada, and then we will take our Chajer ji's issue, how it can be resolved with the help of the legacy. Our legal experts are also here in the form of Dr. Pankaj ji and again Dr. Naveen Garg ji. So we welcome Dr. Harish Sharma ji to put forward. Namaskar. To put forward your doubt.
Sir, I want to bring one point in the notice of all the presenters. पॉइंट सर ये है कि जो आयुर्वेदिक मेडिसिन हैं, जो हर्ब्स हैं, हम लोग क्रूड फॉर्म में यूज करते हैं. खास करके मैं पंकज जी बैठे हैं, पंकज जी से भी क्वेश्चन करना चाहूंगा, अमित जी से भी, कि मान लीजिए हमने हल्दी के ऊपर पेटेंट लिया ऑफ एनी यूज, कोई भी उसकी नोबिलिटी को देखते हुए कोई पेटेंट ग्रांट भी हो गया कि हल्दी इज यूजफुल फॉर क्रोन्स डिजीज, फॉर अल्सरेटिव कोलाइटिस और एनी न्यू यूज. उसके बाद जो सेकंड रिसर्चर है वो कह रहा है कि मैं हल्दी को नहीं छेड़ रहा हूं, आई एम टॉकिंग ऑफ कर्कुमिनाइड्स, आई एम टॉकिंग ऑफ कर्कुमिन. वो लेवल 2 आ गया, वो भी पेटेंट ले लेता है. फिर थर्ड, इंडस्ट्री में जो सिंथेटिक कर्कुमिन है वो आके पेटेंट ले लेता है. वो कहता है जी मेरा नेचुरल कर्कुमिनाइड्स नहीं है ये, आई एम एट ए थर्ड लेवल. तो तीनों को पेटेंट मिल गया, लेकिन इंडिकेशन एक ही है. तो इसका सोल्यूशन क्या है?
क्या 20 साल वाली कंडीशन लागू होगी वहां पर कि नहीं?
तीनों को पेटेंट मिला हुआ है.
तीनों को मिला हुआ है जी.
तीनों को पेटेंट मिला है, लेकिन तीनों के प्रोडक्ट अलग अलग हैं. लेकिन आइडिया शुरू हुआ आयुर्वेदा से, कि आयुर्वेदा का हमने हरिद्रा खंड लिया, हरिद्रा खंड से नैरो डाउन करके हम हरिद्रा पे आए. उसके बाद हरिद्रा को हमने पेटेंट भी करवा लिया. अगला रिसर्चर कहता है मैंने तो हरिद्रा को नहीं छेड़ा है, मैंने तो हरिद्रा में से कर्कुमिन निकाला, कर्कुमिनाइड्स निकाले, तो मेरा पेटेंट तो कर्कुमिनाइड्स का है. उससे अगला वाला आता है, वो कहता है मैं नेचुरल कर्कुनाइड्स की बात नहीं कर रहा हूं, मैंने तो लेबोरेटरी में इसको सिंथेसाइज करके नया प्रोडक्ट बनाया है, तो मुझे भी पेटेंट मिले। तो फर्दर रिसर्च के लिए गवर्नमेंट उसे अलाउ करती है, तो उसमें प्रोटेक्शन कहाँ है? हम तो आयुर्वेद वाले अपनी एक हरिद्रा को लेके बैठे हैं, लेकिन जो ये
डॉक्टर पंकज कुमार जी, वुड यू लाइक टू कमेंट अपॉन दिस वेरी जेन्युइन प्रॉब्लम सर?
जब अपने लोग बात करते हैं ना, नीम हल्दी बासमती का पेटेंट ले लिया, तो ऐसा नहीं होता नीम हल्दी बासमती का पेटेंट ले लिया। एक्चुअली दीज आर द डिस्कवरीज। ये तो ऑलरेडी नेचर में है। नीम हल्दी बासमती जो चीज ऑलरेडी नेचर में है वो तो पब्लिक डोमेन में है, उसकी नोवेल्टी होती नहीं है, उस पर कोई पेटेंट नहीं लेता। लेकिन मीडिया से हमें तो यही इंफॉर्मेशन मिलती है, नीम हल्दी बासमती पर पेटेंट ले लिया, योगा पर पेटेंट ले लिया। एक्चुअली होता क्या है, पेटेंट पर्टिकुलर किसी चीज पर होता है। पेटेंट डॉक्यूमेंट 1 पेज का भी हो सकता है, 1 लाख पेज का भी हो सकता है, लेकिन वो मैटर नहीं करता। मैटर करता है क्लेम क्या किया है। जो क्लेम आपने किया है पेटेंट एप्लीकेशन में, दैट इज द मोस्ट इंपोर्टेंट पार्ट ऑफ एनी पेटेंट एप्लीकेशन। द स्पेसिफिकेशन का सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट ही पेटेंट क्लेम होता है। वो क्लेम एक भी हो सकता है, एक से ज्यादा भी हो सकते हैं। जनरली वो 1 से 2 पेज के अंदर कवर हो जाते हैं सारे क्लेम। तो व्हाट एवर यू आर क्लेमिंग, the rest pages of the specification patent document is supporting your claim. तो आपने जो भी वैल्यू एडिशन किया, जो भी काम किया, रिसर्च आउटपुट किया, तो अपना जो वर्क है, जो नया है, कुछ नया जो आपने ऐड किया सोसाइटी में, उस चीज को आप क्लेम करते हो, ना कि सारा। 99% तो प्रायर आर्ट का पार्ट है जो पब्लिक डोमेन में है। नो वन कैन क्लेम, एनीवन आर फ्री टू यूज इट। बट जो 1% पार्ट है जो आपने इन्वेंट किया है, जो आपने वैल्यू ऐड किया है, केवल उस चीज को आप क्लेम करते हो। तो अभी जो सर आप बता रहे थे, जितनी भी चीजें एक के बाद एक पेटेंट होती गई, तो वो पेटेंट केवल 1% भी नहीं है, वो टिप्स ऑफ आइसबर्ग है ओनली। और जो दिख रहा है वो दिख रहा है क्या, इस चीज पर पेटेंट ले लिया, तो उस चीज पर पेटेंट नहीं लिया, वो तो नेचुरल थी। दैट इज नॉट इन्वेंशन, दैट इज अ डिस्कवरी, एंड देयर इज नो एनी नोवेल्टी और इन्वेंटिवनेस। और यूटिलिटी पर क्लेम कर नहीं सकते। यूटिलिटी को पहले पेटेंट मिलता था, अब तो यूटिलिटी तो हर चीज की होती है। यूटिलिटी कोई भी चीज वेस्ट नहीं होती। तो
नहीं सर, मेरा सवाल सर ये है कि जो पेटेंट अलाउ होता है, पेटेंट जिसे आपने को पेटेंट दिया, उस पे क्या कोई फर्दर रिसर्च कर सकता है? पहला सवाल।
बिल्कुल 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 बिल्कुल। पेटेंट के लिए कॉमर्शियल यूज के लिए बैन है। No one can commercial use without the prior permission, but for the academic purpose, for the research purpose, for the personal purpose, anyone can use it. अगर वो यूज नहीं करेगा तो 20 साल के बाद
नहीं, रिसर्च के बाद तो जो नई रिसर्च आएगी वो भी तो अल्टीमेटली कॉमर्स में जाएगी।
तो जो नया रिसर्च आएगा तो वो उस चीज पर क्लेम नहीं कर रहा जो किसी और ने पहले क्लेम कर लिया। उसने कुछ नया किया होगा ना उसमें, जो चीज उसने नया।
मेरा सवाल सर ये नहीं है कि हमने हल्दी की बात की है, मैं तो 3 लेवल बता रहा हूं कि एक नेचुरल प्रोडक्ट को हमने न्यू इंडिकेशन में, आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग कि हल्दी को हमने वुंड हीलिंग में यूज कर लिया, आई एम टॉकिंग कि हल्दी को हमने क्रोन्स डिजीज में, जो कि बिल्कुल नोबलिटी है, जिसमें नोबल आइडिया है कि क्रोन्स डिजीज में वी फाउंड कि हल्दी पाउडर जो है इट इज इफेक्टिव। दिस इज स्टेप 1। नेक्स्ट रिसर्चर आता है, वो कहता है कि मैंने आपका पेटेंट पढ़ लिया बट आई एम नॉट टचिंग हल्दी। मैंने तो हल्दी में जो कर्कुमिनॉइड्स हैं या कर्कुमिन है उसको मैंने उस पर रिसर्च करके फाइंड आउट किया कि दैट इज इफेक्टिव इन क्रोन्स डिजीज। तो तीसरा रिसर्चर आता है, वो कहता है जी मेरा कर्कुमिनॉइड जो है आप वाला नहीं है, मेरा कर्कुमिनॉइड सिंथेटिक है। जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल जो कुनीन थी वो सिंकोना बार्क से बनी। कुनीन सिंकोना बार्क कन्वर्ट हुआ कुनीन सल्फेट में, उसके बाद क्लोरोकिन फॉस्फेट आया, तो ऐसे इंडस्ट्री ग्रो होती चली गई। तो उसमें जो फर्स्ट पेटेंट होल्डर था, नोबल आइडिया तो उसके पास था।
पेटेंट सबको मिलेगा अगर जिस पेटेंट उसी पार्ट पर मिल रहा है, सबने जो वैल्यू।
पंकज जी, मैं शायद ये समझ पा रहा हूँ कि हरीश शर्मा जी का ये कथन है कि जिस प्रोडक्ट पर या जिस चीज पर पहले जिसने प्राप्त किया है पेटेंट उसको मिल गया, उसके बाद फर्दर रिसर्चेज और अदर नेम्स में बेसिक प्रोडक्ट वही रहती, पेटेंट मिलता है, तो पहले प्राप्त किए हुए व्यक्ति पर उसकी एफिकेसी और उसके यूज पर तो कोई प्रभाव नहीं पड़ेगा। ये मेन चीज है। अगर वो उनका इंटैक्ट रहता है 20 साल तक तो उन्हें कोई दिक्कत नहीं, दूसरे तीसरे 10 को मिल जाए। इस पर आप क्लियर कर दीजिए।
गोल्ड इज गोल्ड, जिसका
Gold.
पहले पेटेंट है उसको तो प्रॉब्लम है ही नहीं।
ये
अगर
उनका उनका दर्द यही है, उनकी पीड़ा को, उनके प्रश्न को समझिए कि जो पहले है ना, हमारे पुराने वैद्य जी हैं, केवल बीएमएस है या आयुर्वेदाचार्य थे, कविरत्न थे, उन्होंने अपनी किसी प्रोडक्ट पर करा लिया, उससे पैसे भी कम लगते होंगे, तो वो पूर्ण रूप से यावत जीवन सुरक्षित रहेगा या 20 साल के लिए रहेगा, वो दृष्टिकोण है। आगे रिसर्च तो होती रहेगी, ठीक है नहीं? शायद मैं जो समझ पाया वो इतना है।
ये सर यहाँ पर प्रैक्टिस है, लोग आयुर्वेदा का बेसिक आइडिया लेके फर्दर रिसर्च कर रहे हैं। ये सबसे बड़ी समस्या है।
तो वो तो आयुर्वेद वाले दे रहे हैं, हम सब दे ही रहे हैं, हम कैसे रोक सकते हैं? हमें दर्द नहीं होना चाहिए, हमारी योग्यता, हमारे प्रोडक्ट सुरक्षित रहे, आगे तो फिर वो है ही है। वो तो
मैंने परसों सर जो बताया था
जी,
परसों मैंने जो बताया था कि किसी ने आर्सेनिक ट्राइऑक्साइड के ऊपर पेटेंट ले लिया ल्यूकेमिया के ऊपर। हालांकि उसने मेंशन भी किया है कि आयुर्वेद में रक्त विकारों के लिए यूज होता रहा, लेकिन उस समय ल्यूकेमिया टर्म थी नहीं हमारे यहाँ। तो उसने आइडेंटिफाई करके उस पर ट्रायल किया एंड ही फाउंड इट इफेक्टिव, उसके बाद पेटेंट हो गया है।
चलिए आपकी बात आ गई दोनों, क्या मैं दोनों ही वक्ताओं का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूँ, डॉक्टर हरीश वर्मा जी का भी और हमारे जो गेस्ट स्पीकर रहे पंकज जी का। अब मैं नाड़ी वैद्य अपने भाई प्रोफेसर वैद्य संजय छाजेड़ जी की जो व्यथा हुई, उनके जीवन से घटना घटी, उसको उन्हीं के मुख से चाहूंगा और फिर हमारे विद्वान वक्ता उसको कुछ समाधान देंगे। वैद्य संजय छाजेड़ जी, आपका स्वागत।
धन्यवाद अग्निहोत्री सर, धन्यवाद पवन सर, हरी जी नमस्कार, पंकज सर नमस्कार। IPR is an essential part. There is no doubt that intellectual property should be protected. Intellectual property from the traditional knowledge must be protected. If somebody is working on traditional knowledge, it has to be protected. And there are various means and methods of protecting it, which has been very clearly and loudly been told by Pankaj sir and Naveen ji, who has got a patent on one of the novel product and which he has commercialized too. So that's very good. But this IPR Act can be abused. And I am the victim. Abused in the sense, I had my clinic's name, Charak Specialty Ayurved Center. That was there for a long time. One fine day I got a notice that we have got the trademark registration in this name, so you cannot use. I searched as everybody else does, and I found that there is no entire name was registered, neither the logo was matching with what registration was done. So I replied to the notice and I consulted Department of AYUSH, spoke to Secretary Sir himself, discussed with many legal experts, many IPR experts, and found it that a particular name which is there in tradition cannot be patentized, cannot be trademarked. But unfortunately, the trademark office did register that particular trademark, not as the clinic, but only the name, Charak, the Sahita name. So I was very confident that this cannot be trademarked. This is no IPR. How can Charak or Sushrut or Wagbhat can be an IPR?
Yeah.
I went to court. I tried to explain the entire story. Nothing happened. They only asked me, the Honorable Justice Sir asked me a single question. Does your clinic name contain this particular word? I had no choice than to accept it because it was there on all my stationery, It was there on all my boards. It was there on all my social medias, on all my YouTube channel, Instagram, everywhere, because I was using the name. I never thought that this can be a problem. And probably no doctor, private practitioner in India trademarks his clinic's name. And after acceptance, he asked me, "Did you have the trademark for this?" The answer was obvious, no. Then they have it. So he fined me directly. And it was not illegal to fine me. I don't blame Honorable Justice Sir, but I do blame the registration authorities, the trademark registrar, the patent registrar, the IPR office of India. How can they use a particular name which is traditionally been used in Ayurveda for centuries together? We know Charaka was there 500 BC. The Charak Sahita is in practice. Every single Vaidya uses Charak Sahita for last 2000 years. And still a patent in that particular name is allotted to a healthcare sector. I think there is need of amendment in patent laws. Why I want to raise this issue here? I have paid the fine. It's a story 4 years ago. I tried to raise it on all platforms. I communicated to Government of India. I communicated to Department of AYUSH. Everybody exclaimed, "How can this happen?" But nobody took any stern steps to revoke the patent, to revoke the trademark. If such type of trademarks have been given in the industry, it will be very difficult. A normal doctor who is just passed BMS, he is trying, he is learning Tarak Sahita, he is learning Sushruta Sahita, he thinks them as an idol and put the name of his clinic in that particular fashion, he may be troubled. And we are not trained in our core curriculum for IPR laws. We are not trained about how to protect ourselves. We are not trained how to search before starting anything. Even Navinji, you will agree with me, before starting your PhD research, when you decided to work on certain things, did you really research what kind of patents have been granted on this particular subject? Probably not. Later on, I have had certain patents in my name. I am working with IIT Mumbai. Bairak has funded many of our projects. Then I am working with IRES, our on Earth Solutions. I am partner there. We have registered and patented few photoplethysmography techniques and our new Nadi Pariksha machine, Sahaj Nadi Yantra, the Sanai, that got patented. But I still feel, and today I requested when I saw the subject, as Agnihotri sir very categorically said, in 22, I had very few appearances on IRES. I did 6 appearances, sir. Because
But you are, but you are our Charak awardee. You are our Charak awardee. I do remember. Namaskar.
it is your greatness, sir. I am a small man. But this kind of awareness, I think it is needed in professional courses. Every single professional from medical fraternity, engineering fraternity, pharma fraternity should be aware at basic undergraduate level what is this IPR and how it can really trouble you. The demand from the company was for 17 lakhs. I'm thankful to Honorable Justice Sir that he made it 5 lakhs. He thought 5 lakh of is enough. He asked the company whether he has used any product of yours, whether he has used your name and earned money. No. They said he only used the name in the clinic. And that costed me 5 lakh rupees. Being a practitioner, that was okay. It was tolerable shock for me. But yes, it was mental trauma. And it ended up in increasing my blood sugar and blood pressure for a long time. I had to undergo for the medication for that. So this is something which I want this platform to address. this platform to address. It's okay. We have to protect our laws, but we need to know that how the abuse can be stopped. Protecting our science, that everybody need to do that. It is very essential. We are very categorically informed. Every single, probably the longest lecture I have heard in AYUSH sector about patent. And it was so wonderfully crafted, giving every single nuances of how a patenting has to be done, why a patenting is required, what are the stages, what are the process, how the phases can go. But then how an abuse can be stopped. That is very essential part of it. Even the patent law makers should not only think of supporting the traditional knowledge or traditional or even otherwise knowledge or everybody's IPR, but they need to think on this particular line, stopping of abuse of patent laws or IPR laws. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to put my pains in front of the august people. And I'm sure, because these IRES webinars are not only recorded here, they go long way. They go on the Facebook, they go on the YouTube, they go on every single media. And probably across every institution in India today, IRES lectures are recognized, taken cognizance of. And I'm sure if AYUSH Ministry, Patent Ministry is listening to this, the Ministry of Commerce is listening to this, the Ministry of Science and Technology listening to this, they need to come out with some kind of relief for victims like me. That's okay. We paid. I am a victim, and I am going to remain a victim for my lifetime. But I don't want my further generation to be victim of such nonsense. So,
thank you so much. Thank you so much. You really shared your experienced such a heart-touching and sad episode happened in your life where you were leading a wonderful life. And I do hope that none of our guest speakers are there to answer on this point or console you. But what I got out of your this suggestion, that is, as an academician, what I found that as the research methodology subject is being added in final year course, and one has to pass that subject, as they have already included the PNDT Act and its all the aspects. So your suggestion in the form of the IPR, this knowledge must be given and be examined at fifth year level. So this message should be taken by NCISM, those who are the syllabus makers, and the production is coming from our undergraduate college, post-graduate college, because in post-graduation they do ultimately our graduate, either he will go for teaching after doing MD or for practice or for research. He must know with the updated knowledge of the current scenario. That is the knowledge of today's discussion and today's seminar webinar topic, that how this knowledge be also be taught to the students of BMS, that too of course final year. This is a great suggestion, and it must be taken by the NCISM authorities. Then only our student will come forward with this awareness, and persons like your personality who suffered and could manage a starter, a coming new practitioner, will not be in position financially to pay, and he may suffer say stroke or anything of that nature. So it is a must. Your suggestion is really wonderful. NCISM authorities are supposed to take this in their cognizance. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We
Sir, I have got one question to Dr. Shahid.
Sure.
Can I?
Two persons there. One Dr. Ryan, he is also advocate, I know, and he will definitely reveal some good things. At the same time, Anand Kattiji is also raising his hand. So both our speakers, they will be invited with their time. So first, Dr. Ryan Kankatja, please
Sir,
put your
as the time is very much, it is 10:30. Very simple question. Idea of appealing on the order of fine. It didn't touch to his mind what happened. Why he didn't appeal? This was my question to
it's a wonderful
because he felt that he has committed mistake as per the question of honorary judge.
I accepted. He asked me, do you have this name in your the subject matter? I said yes. Do you accept that? I said yes, because it was documented. He asked me the second question. Do you have any copyright for that? The answer was no. And due to my acceptance, my road to appeal was cut down because it was an accepted offense.
Okay, that was you accepted, but
Yeah, I
still,
accepted. No, it was my name. So he said it's that was there in the judgment. So he accepted. So I could not really appeal. My advocates and everybody, counsel, there were 4 counsels. They were discussing, and then it come out that you cannot appeal.
So
I could not.
so you accepted the justice as it was injustice.
was representing.
I accepted the status, and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
justice was justice. I cannot say it is injustice because it was legal. I cannot really put bad words for the
No,
honorable
naturally,
High Court.
naturally, we honor,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
all
one should
honor
not.
our judiciary, we
respect.
honor the
We all
judiciary.
respect our judiciary.
Yes.
It was all legal.
We have
It was
to
not
behave
illegal.
decently. Yes,
It was
very
not
good.
illegal.
But it
It
was
was
not
not
illegal.
illegal. He did it, but it was injustice, I feel, for
Hmm.
using the name of Rishi. Why should there be a patent given already? Why a trademark has been given? That was the question. It is not the question because I was fined. It was my mistake because there was a trademark and I used it. But who knows? The charak can be trademark.
Sir,
Yes.
who was your advocate at that time? Who was representing your, defending your case?
It's a Bombay High Court senior counsel.
Name?
Why?
Okay, let it be, sir. Okay, we'll talk personally.
Yeah, unnecessarily.
You can talk
Yes,
on
sir.
personal
Let
level.
it,
It should
let
not
it
be
be,
on
let
the
it be, sir. Let
national
it be.
He is also doctor and advocate both. So, since
Fortunately,
we
I
go
am
by
also.
Sir,
I
Sanjay ji,
have my
I
own
know
legal.
you since very long time, though
I
you
know
may not be knowing.
I know
I'm friend of
I know
your
you
friend
too.
Sudhakar Moite.
I know, sir. You are in the NEMA legal team. You are heading the NEMA legal cell. Once long time ago, I was looking after.
Yeah. We will talk personally, sir.
I do remember. I do
for
remember.
everybody's interest, we can have this sort of discussion, or else if it becomes personal, I think
No,
whether
I am not
Sajid
making
Yes,
it personal.
not
I am
on
not
not
making it
on
will suffer.
media
So
platform. Yes.
naturally, he will definitely repeatedly say that he was suffering. Of course, he was not only financially, he was
That's
given the
okay.
penalty, but it touched the mental status and physical status both, along with
You
the
can
social
imagine
status.
as a
Yeah.
Vaidya, if you are fined for nonsense reason,
Yes.
that is
Well,
troublesome.
sir, no,
How do you find?
Dr. Pankaj sir is
Anand has some
saying
question.
something.
Anand has some question.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
I
Thank
can.
you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
I can understand what stress under you might have faced, because of which culminated into your diabetes and
That's
hypertension.
okay. It
Yes,
happens
yes.
at times, no? You get traumas.
Yeah.
Yeah, Anand. How can I help you?
Issue every day such type of issue raised. Every day such type of issue raised, and this is a very simple issue, and you unnecessarily stress it so long due to unawareness. See, trademark, this is not a requirement. You don't need to register this charak as a trademark, first thing. And second, whenever you get the notice, first you need to do rectification. You have to request trademark registry to rectify their records, because trademark registry wrongly registered the trademark in the name of charak. So they need to revoke this trademark registration. And if there is no trademark registration, there is no any validity of such legal notice or any litigation. So no need to go in litigation, just to request trademark registry. Even you can do it right now. You make request to trademark registry to rectify their records, because this is a wrongly granted. See, as there is no any legal requirement to get registered such trademark, anyone can use charak as a brand. So there is no any problem. And only the registered entity can object. And there is no any registration in this word. So there is no any objection. So if there is any registration, so that is wrongly registered.
Yeah,
They
I was
wrongly
also going to suggest on the same line, sir. Pankaj Kumar, sir.
Charak tablet, Charak company is there, Himalaya company is there. They are using name of Acharya Charak.
Everyone can use Charak, no problem, no problem. And there is
That's why I know we have got Charak pathology lab. Sumantu Sushruth Polyclinic, Dhanvantari Ultrasound Center.
Yes,
These
anyone
names
can
are
use it.
frequently used.
Sir,
Yeah.
I have my clinic, Dhanvantari Clinic.
Sir,
my clinic.
had you been there as a good friend and suggestion maker? Our Nali Professor Sanjay Shajarji would have not paid this 5 lakhs penalty, as it
No
was.
need to pay a single rupee.
It was wrongly leveled upon him.
Yes, in fact,
Your
they
suggestion
can
is
get
wonderful. That registration center or honorable justice sir could have sought the presence of the registration authority to make a clearance over this registration. Then the thing would have been solved easily.
Fact, do you know, once if anyone go in litigation against you, first things you need to do to request trademark registry for rectification, and
Right.
you can update the court that already such matter is under sub judice under trademark registry. So no court can act till the disposal of the matter at the end of trademark registry. And trademark registry have to rectify the records.
I mean, time can be given, say 15 days, 1 month, 2 months, whatever.
There is no such time limit, but till the disposal at the end of trademark registry, no court can take any action. So no need to pay anything. And in fact, meanwhile, you can file a suit in court for passing of action that you are the prior user, you are using this name since long, and somebody started copy their brands and somehow registered the name. So this is a case of passing off.
Yes, sir. Now what can be done? Can this case be revoked even after 3-4 years?
So case is already settled. Case is already settled. Now you can request for rectification of that trademark.
By that, can the deposited money be refunded?
No, you can initiate a separate litigations for passing off.
For further use.
For passing off.
Yeah.
That someone else passed.
At least we are all sympathetic to our veggie, so that what had happened. क्या साथ लाए थे क्या ले जाएंगे वाले गीता वाली फिलॉसफी में चलें, क्या साथ लाए थे क्या ले जाएंगे, जो हो गया वो अच्छा हुआ, जो हो रहा है वो अच्छा हो रहा है.
सर आईपीआर में क्या होता है ना, लेने के देने पड़ जाते हैं. कई एक बार होता है कि जब लिटिगेशन का नौबत आता है ना, तो लिटिगेशन में भले वो पेटेंट हो, ट्रेडमार्क हो, कॉपीराइट हो, तो जो अपोजिट पार्टी होती है ना, अपोजिट पार्टी जैसे यहाँ आप हो गए, तो आप क्या करते हो कोर्ट में, सबसे पहले रेक्टिफिकेशन फाइल करते हो. भले पेटेंट का हो, अपोजिशन फाइल करते हो, तो वैसे केस में क्या है, वो केस चला जाता है ट्रेडमार्क रजिस्ट्री, पेटेंट ऑफिस, इनके पास, और जब तक वो मैटर वहां से सेटल नहीं होगा तब तक कोर्ट उसको पेंडिंग में डाल देती है. अल्टीमेट वहां होगा क्या, वहां पर वो रेक्टिफाई हो जाएगा, सही हो जाएगा. जब सही हो जाएगा तो देयर इज नो एनी रजिस्ट्रेशन. और जब रजिस्ट्रेशन ही नहीं है तो इन्फ्रिंजमेंट कहाँ से, और जब इन्फ्रिंजमेंट ही नहीं है तो कोर्ट में लिटिगेशन का मतलब ही नहीं है. अब इस बीच में आप कोर्ट से ये रिक्वेस्ट कर सकते हो मेंटल एगोनी, और जो आपका जो एक्सपेंडिचर हुआ है इस बीच में वो सारा आपको मिले,
उससे ज्यादा हो जाएगा.
हाँ, उससे ज्यादा आपको मिलेगा. तो लेने के देने पड़ जाते हैं. जो पार्टी आपको नोटिस सर्व किया है,
बहुत वाइटल सजेशन, बहुत पॉजिटिव सजेशन है कि पहले हम जड़ को ठीक करें, हेतु निदानम परिवर्जनम, पहले हम निदान का परिवर्जन कर दें. वहां पर
एक्चुअली क्या अवेयरनेस नहीं होने से कोर्ट में भी क्या जजेस को ज्यादा अवेयरनेस नहीं आई.
पेनल्टी बेसलेस हो जाएगी. जब बेस ही खत्म हो गया तो पेनल्टी लगने का मतलब ही नहीं. आप पेनल्टी जमा होगी गवर्नमेंट में, गवर्नमेंट पेनल्टी जमा होगी. अब इन पर जो मेंटल स्ट्रेस हो, ऐसे जो एगोनी हुई है इतने साल का, उसका मुआवजा जो माननीय विद्वान जजेस डिसाइड करें वो उसका मुआवजा दिलवाएं.
और उसके बाद आप पासिंग ऑफ का केस भी कर सकते हो कि समवन एल्स passed their products under your brand. प्रायर यूजर हो आप, प्रायर यूजर हो आप, पहले से काम कर रहे हो, पहले से वो ब्रांड एस्टेब्लिश किया हुआ है. बाद में कोई आकर उस नाम को रजिस्टर्ड करता है, that doesn't mean that is the right holder. एक्चुअली ये रजिस्टर्ड तो हो ही नहीं सकता. हुआ है तो गलत हुआ है।
I think this is the best solution of today's webinar, best day and best step out of this discussion. Now, Dr. Ryan ji is again saying something. His hand is raised.
No, sir. No, sir. Sorry. Sorry.
Okay, sir. Thank you. At least we got to.
Okay.
We got to some end to design, and our all sympathy and our all say craze towards veggies. This episode, this happening, it can be made vital if it started right from the registration office. Sir, you have to. You are mute. You are mute. Sajid, you are mute, please.
Suggestion of the Pankaj sir is really working as a lighthouse.
Yes.
That day, none of my council had this idea to put it to IPR and asking them to revoke the registration which was given. But the story in my case was different. The company which raised the issue were the prior users. They were users for last 70 years of the same name, and they had their registration already. IPR registration done, trademark registration was done. It was never done in healthcare sector, but it was done under 44 section in the healthcare also a year ago, which was not visible. We tried to search it out in website. We tried to search the entire process. My IPR council also searched it, but we could not find it, and so we replied that this is not there, and we fought, because as it was not there, we didn't bother to revoke it. We just fought, and that fought, he asked me 2 questions, and then fine was implemented. That's okay. It happens in the life. When you do the business, there is a loss. But yes, this is definitely, it should be this suggestion. I would definitely keep it in mind. If any case happens in such fashion, we will first thing do to send it to register patent to revoke the IPR which has been wrongly been given, and then
Yes,
the
sir.
case
Definitely,
will
you
take
can
its
work
own
on
course.
this.
Yeah, the case can take its own course. That will happen. So nice, sir. Thank you very much, Pankaj sir, for the wonderful
Thank
suggestion.
you, sir. Really, it's a collaborative approach, and our all contributors like Pankaj Kumar ji, our Ryan ji, and your own the sufferer made something concrete to proceed with the right direction. Dr. Anand Katti ji is also interested to say something. Please,
No,
you are invited.
just one comment
Yes,
I wanted to make there. You mentioned that it should be included in the syllabus of the post graduation. Just I want to say that it is included almost 7 or 8 years back. With the post graduation syllabus framed by the CCM itself has IPR as the last component in the syllabus. The another in connection with the current discussion that is happening, I just want to bring my own understanding. Probably it is not the word charaka that is of concern or that is of importance for that pharmaceutical company. It is the way that this trademark is created. Maybe the conflict of interest is coming the way the charaka is written, and that's where the issue lies. And
No, it was word.
okay,
It was not the way it was written, neither the font nor the design. It was
okay,
the
sir.
way, Tarak,
Way,
the word.
yeah.
The
So
word Tarak had the copyright, trademark.
Then just like how we have some protection of the traditional
But
knowledge in
Pankaj sir has
organic
given the
of,
best option probably. What he has, because I have,
yeah,
it was,
just
I
in,
was the sufferer, so we studied a lot. So
yes,
this
sir.
is probably the best advice I have ever got.
No, as a remedy for this, just in tune with how the TKDL has come up with protection of traditional knowledge, this trademark also need to be some there should be some laws to protect at least these ancient sages' names being liberally allotted to everyone, irrespective of any. Some laws can be framed where the liberty is given to all. Everyone who wants to take the benefit. I mean, the trademark should not be given in those names is what I wanted to say. That can be legally, some laws can be framed. The suggestion can be made to the act itself. That's what I wanted to say, sir.
Have you read the laws, Trademark Act? It is already mentioned
No,
there.
no, sir.
See section 9. See section 9 of Trademark Act 1999. Just Google it. Section 9 of Trademark Act 1999. Just Google
Sir,
it.
then the issuing itself becomes a violation.
Yes, that's why I'm telling you this is a wrong registration, and that's why if you request trademark registry that this is a wrong registration as per section 9 of the Trademark Act 1999, they obviously
It could have been revoked. Yes.
it.
Yep.
So see the
Okay, sir.
section 9.
It's a wonderful
Yes, sir.
suggestion, sir.
So
I
there is no need
definitely
of
really-
any.
Yeah, no litigation would have been existed at all.
Well, we are reaching towards right direction, step by step, persons by persons, and their intelligence. Meanwhile, I saw once where your discussion was running, our respected Adani Jagdishwar Domaji was appeared. So I think with a very long practice, experience and duration, he might have come across so many such type of legality. Once or twice he has mentioned with the presence of DM, the things were sold in the market, and then some sort of legal notice and all that. So I very humbly and very respectfully like to invite for the suggestions of respected Dr. Jagdishwar Domaji. Please join us and say some blessings on today's webinar's topics. Yes, thank you, sir. Namaskar.
अग्निहोत्री जी
जी,
मेरा
प्रणाम
विनम्र प्रणाम
प्रणाम
और
सर।
सबके लिए मेरा विनम्र प्रणाम। अभी जो पेनलाइज करे करके नाड़ी वैद्य जी का हुआ, मैं तो वो तो वास्तव में इग्नोरेंस ऑफ द लॉ बोलता हूँ, क्योंकि ये
जी।
पहले पेटेंटाइज करना ही जो ट्रेडिशनल का शरत नाम पर था वही गलती था। वो गलती तो ये गलती करे सो दूसरा सुधारे नहीं बिना फिर लास्ट से गलती करते हैं, ये कहाँ का होता है। पहले तो वो रजिस्ट्रेशन करना ही गलत था, क्योंकि दैट इज नॉट एट ऑल परमिसिबल अकॉर्डिंग टू द ट्रेडिशनल नॉलेज। अपन चरक परंपरा का जो भी कर सकते हैं, उनको रजिस्ट्रेशन कराने का, पेटेंटाइज करने का, वहां पेटेंट करने का गलती नहीं है। Who that particular institution has patentized that name? And number one point, they themselves are illegal. And when our Nadi Vaidya, he displayed and he used that name, again he is being penalized, means it's very injustice done to him. Maybe technically that our Vaidya ji मान लिए हम यूज करके उसके बाद में अगर समझिए कि जो कुछ भी बदमाशी करने वाला रहते हैं, नहीं सर मैं यूज नहीं करा बोले तो झूठ बोले, तब क्या वो माफ कर सकते हैं। मैंने इन्होंने बोलना नहीं चाहता, क्योंकि ये सच्चाई से रहना चाहता, इसीलिए पेनलाइज हुआ। ये कहाँ का लीगैलिटी है भाई, कहाँ का जस्टिस है भाई, ये तो गलत है। अपना वाड़ी नाड़ी वैद्य जी का 5 लाख पेनाल्टी करना। मैं तो एक सिंपली इन टाइमली जो है मेरा ऑडिटर रिटर्न्स नहीं फाइल नहीं करे तो एक्स्ट्रा पेनाल्टी डालते हैं, वो तो मामूली चलता है बोले तो तुरंत जो है मेरा चार्टर्ड अकाउंट को बदल दिया, रात ही बदल करके विथिन 12 o'clock मेरा रिटर्न सबमिट करना, बस मुझे सो जाना करके मेरा पेशेंट का वो कर दिया। मैंने एक पेनलाइज करने का बेइज्जती होता है, क्यों भरे? और साथ साथ जो है ना अपना, इनका तो गलती नहीं है, पहले पेटेंटाइज करने वाला का गलती है। अब इससे मैं ज्यादा
सही कहा, वो अपनी ऑनेस्टी के, लेकिन उनका कहना है उनके सारे डॉक्यूमेंट, उनकी स्टेशनरी सब पर नाम छपा था, ट्रेडमार्क छपा था, तो इसलिए वो डिनाई भी नहीं कर सकते थे।
परफेक्टली राइट, ही इज परफेक्टली राइट, ही इज सो हॉनेस्ट इन प्रेजेंटेशन, लेकिन पहले पेटेंटाइज करे सो वालों का गलती नहीं है
जी।
फिर वो गलत तो सुधारे नहीं, जो गलती करे सो वालों को मान करके जो इनको पेनालाइज करते हैं, कौन सा जस्टिस है जी, कौन सा लीगैलिटी है?
ऑनरेडी जज साहब को कोर्ट से उनके लिए भी नोटिस भेजना चाहिए था, जो रजिस्ट्रेशन अथॉरिटी थे, कि प्लीज रिवोक द मैटर।
सर्टेनली अभी जो है ना वास्तव में इनका पेनलाइज करने का माफी का चार्ज दिलाना चाहिए, क्योंकि अननेसेसरली और नाड़ी वैद्य को पेनलाइज करे।
बिल्कुल सही है। बहुत शुक्रिया आपका। आपसे यही अपेक्षा थी कि आज हमारे नाड़ी वैद्य संजय छाजेड़ जी के प्रति हम सब लोगों की तो जो वेदना है वो तो है ही, साथ में एक रोष भी आ गया कि किस तरीके से एक सच्चे इंसान के प्रति माने सही बात को न सुन के सही जगह पर उसको अप्रोच न करके एक गलत तरीके से उनको फाइनेंशियली लॉस तो किया ही गया, मेंटल और फिजिकल और सोशल भी उनको लॉस रहा, उनकी इमेज डैमेज हुई, मैं तो ये कहूंगा। खैर वो सहन कर गए, पुराने लोग हैं, गीतावादी हैं, तो समझ सकते हैं कि जो भी है अच्छे के लिए हो रहा होगा, बट एक चिकित्सा संवर्ग के लिए, हमारे चिकित्सकों के लिए एक कष्टकारक स्थिति हुई। तो आज का बहुत ही अच्छा डिस्कशन हुआ, सभी के विचार आ गए।
अग्निहोत्री जी,
जी
एक
सर,
छोटा
जी सर।
सा एग्जाम्पल बताता हूँ
जी
कि
सर।
बाबा को आनंद मूर्ति जी का प्लेन न्यूयॉर्क टावर ने उतरने का परमिशन नहीं दिया, उनका चार्टर्ड प्लेन। उसी पर
जी
उन्होंने अमेरिका पर जब फेडरल कोर्ट पे केस किया था, वो काफी समय तक चला। एक्चुअली उसका जो है ना कोई टिकाव नहीं है, उनका चार्टर्ड प्लेन नहीं उतराने का। लेकिन ये जानते थे, बाबा जानते थे आराम से इसका फैसला किया जाएगा। आज तक कोई आदमी, कोई देश आकर के सामने मुझे बता दीजिए जिसी से माफी मांगे अमेरिका ने, सिर्फ आनंद मूर्ति से माफी मांगे, क्योंकि वहां गलत था। दैट इज व्हाई आई से दैट दे आर मोस्ट हॉनेस्ट देन दिस लीगलिटी। क्योंकि एक देश जो है आनंद मूर्ति जी को माफी मांगा, वी आर वेरी सॉरी करके, आप कहीं कभी भी आ सकते हैं, हम गलत करें। छोटा सा मिसाल पर इन्होंने जेनेवा एयरपोर्ट में बोले, आज इतना टेक्नोलॉजी, टेक्निकली साइंस इतना अभिवृद्धि किए हैं, अभी भी अगर जानते हैं कि स्वर्ग का द्वार का चाबी पोप का जेब में या फादर के जेब में है, तो ये कोई मानने की बात होता है साइंटिफिक लेकर के? इतना बोलने पर ही वेटिकन सिटी का मैसेज गया अमेरिका को। अमेरिका को जाते ही इन्होंने क्रिश्चियनिटी का अगेंस्ट में बोले हैं करके बोलते ही वहां जब मैसेज गया, मैसेज जाते ही उनका टावर जो है ना, न्यूयॉर्क टावर, इनका चार्टर्ड प्लेन उतरने नहीं दिया। ये बाद में ये लोग रिवील करें कि इन्होंने जब केस फाइल कर दिया, बताइए मेरा चार्टर्ड प्लेन उतारने क्यों नहीं दिए। तो उसके बाद में 4 इयर्स और 5 इयर्स के बाद जो है लास्टली अमेरिका तो थोड़ा सा लीगली, इसीलिए बाबा बोले दुनिया में दो पावरफुल है, एक ब्रिटिश पार्लियामेंट और दूसरा अमेरिकन फेडरल कोर्ट्स। बाबा ओपनली बोल दिए, आज तक भी कोई चैलेंज नहीं।
कोर्ट की बात आ गई, इसलिए सबका सम्मान करना होता है। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। हमारे बड़े हैं
व्हाइट हाउस रिप्रेजेंटेटिव आके माफी मांगे कोर्ट में, व्हाइट हाउस इसका क्लैरिफिकेशन व्हाइट हाउस ही दे सकता है बोले, तब जो है ना फेडरल कोर्ट।
हमारे बैच जी के केस में अब क्या जान फूकी जा सकती है। इन्हीं सब कंक्लूडिंग नोट्स के साथ में हम सबका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करते हैं, अपने सभी गेस्ट स्पीकर्स का और उन सबका जिन्होंने आज के बहुत ही अच्छे लीगल डिस्कशन में सबने सहयोग दिया। और हम माइक वापस प्रोफेसर पवन कुमार शर्मा जी को आगे की कार्रवाई के लिए वापस करते हैं। धन्यवाद सबको, नमस्कार।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर, बहुत बहुत आभार सभी का। वो राजेंद्र खटवकर जी हाथ उठाए हुए हैं, मैं तो उनको वो हो गई, तो मैं इसीलिए आपसे बस, कल भी एक यूनिक सब्जेक्ट है, कल ब्रिटेन वाले बोलेंगे, इंडिया वाले सुनेंगे। रिकॉग्नाइज आयुर्वेदा इन यूके, रिकॉग्नाइज आयुर्वेदा सीरीज। सो थैंक यू वेरी मच। गुड नाइट टू ऑल। गुड नाइट सर, थैंक यू वेरी मच।
थैंक यू।